Everybody read.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Heather?
I think so.
A through Z.
A through Z. L.
We had a mini discussion over what topics we were going to go over, and you can't help out a little bit?
That's the last name of somebody we discussed died this week.
L?
Jim Lovell.
Who? I wasn't going to talk about that one.
Oh.
Who died? Who was it?
Jim Lovell, the astronaut.
Yes, Tom Hanks from the movie. Died at 97.
I thought you were going to talk about that.
I wasn't, but you brought it up. So it got to now. I can't believe you targeted the one thing I wasn't going to talk about.
You didn't specifically say you weren't going to, so I just
didn't even actually hear his name when you said it earlier. You were like, blah, 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 died. And I was like, oh, who? And you're all, the Apollo 13. You didn't actually say who again. You just said the Apollo 13 guy. And I said, who played him in the movie? And you said Tom Hanks. And I went, all right. I still didn't remember his name. Making me seem all disrespectful as fuck of the dead. I am, but still, you didn't have to call me out like that. Damn. Oh, who was it, Heather?
Jim Lovell.
Jim Lovell. Passed away this year.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. He died. 97. Not Tom Hanks, but Tom Hanks in Apollo 13. See, making me seem even more disrespectful that I don't remember the fucker's name, but I remember Tom Hanks. Oh, thanks for that, Heather. Thanks for that. Also, child star Danielle Spencer died today. You might remember her from What's Happening. But she passed away today.
Did they say why for her or no?
She had like lots of health issues. She's been doing some like for decades type of stuff. How did Jim Lovell? How did he die? Old?
I'm guessing.
Of old.
I was just trying to provide some news. You're just so upset about it.
Jastin, that's a legit reason to die. People die of old all the time.
Just the way you said it, though. Die of old? Would he die of old?
Yeah, the motherfucker's 97. I'm hedging my bet and saying he died of old.
Jastin, we need to make Sterling watch Old, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
I don't think you saw that one.
I read the comic, damn it. Did you guys read the comic? No.
No, count.
It does.
No.
Is it a bunch of people that were young and get old?
No, count.
I'm just saying, did the same things not happen?
You got to see what happened on it. You got to see what happened on the film.
With your boy, your favorite.
Once
filmmaker.
again, wasn't it young people getting old? And then some kids get old and fuck?
You got to see that M. Night.
Dude, I read a French comic book. Come on, I did my stuff.
Then you should be excited for M. Night. You should be like, oh, I read the book and now it's time
French
for the movie.
comic book, Jastin. We went through the same thing.
That's what people are supposed to do. You read the book, you watch the movie.
Not a French comic book.
That's what a human being does.
Dude, 8
Sterling.
people ever read that French comic book. It's me, M. Night Shyamalan, and 6 random French people. That's it. It's not good. Which makes sense as to why M. Night Shyamalan read that garbage comic book and went, you know what? More people need this story. I'm just saying I went through it.
Well, if you really
I
want to
did
know
my time.
what M. Night thought of it, you got to watch the film.
I did my time.
But the film. What about the film?
French comic book, Jastin. I don't think you're getting this. It was a motherfucking French comic. And I technically own it. It sucks so bad.
But now you can watch the film and go, "Oh, that was in the book."
Justin,
Wouldn't that would be fun.
I
That'd
literally
be
said
fun for you to
everything
do.
I remember. I ain't gonna remember any of that other shit. I remember young people get old and some kids that were kids get old and they fuck. That's all I remember.
You're never sitting there and go,
Nope.
"That's in the book."
Not of French comic books, no.
Okay.
No.
I digress.
You do. Anyway. And especially on the cusp of me giving you some fun Dr. Pepper news, Jastin.
Oh, so it's good news.
I heard some fun Dr. Peppy news.
Don't say it that way.
Excellent.
Don't say what
You know
way,
that's-
Jastin.
It's not the way to
Dr.
do it.
Peppy.
Don't do that. Nobody does that.
Chicky Nuggies and Dr. Peppy.
Nobody does that.
Baby Yoda does.
No, he doesn't.
What do you
Yes,
mean?
yeah.
What do you mean? No, he doesn't, Justin. You saw it. You saw it.
Speaking of Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian, Gina Carano,
Might come
I
back.
heard, won her lawsuit.
I don't know. She hasn't won her lawsuit. Essentially,
That's what it said,
oh,
the article.
what I had read was they kind of like paused the lawsuit to try to settle it out of court type of scenario. And as a part of that, one of the Disney people was like, sure, we'd bring her back. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's a great thing. But you might be right. This, what I read was a couple of days ago. So maybe since then it did change. But I just,
But what I read was some days too, so I don't know. You might have read an update.
but yeah, essentially though, my takeaway from it was the Disney people going like, yeah, we'd love to have her back. I'm like, would you? Is anyone really sitting there going, God, I need Gina Carano in a movie? She was good in Haywire, though.
I really did like that.
Yeah, Haywire's a
And
good
to
movie.
be fair, in the Mandalorian, she was good too.
Yeah.
She was a good minor character in that.
And I had a huge crush on her when she was, Crush in American
did too.
Gladiators?
I did too. When she was what was she? Yeah, Crush.
Yeah,
you
she was
said it.
Crush.
Yeah, she was Crush.
Yeah, and then she went all nuts.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, she's hot crazy. Got it. I guess too many Muay Thai kicks to the head. But anyway, back to the Dr. Peppy news. Don't distract from Dr. Peppy, Jastin. As of recently, Pepsi is no longer the number 2 soft drink company to Coca-Cola. Dr. Pepper is.
Huh.
So it now goes Coca-Cola and all the billions of drinks it has. And then Dr. Pepper and like the 5 that it has. And then it's Pepsi with the however many drinks it has, because no one actually drinks Pepsi.
I'll never understand how Pepsi is that high because I think it's disgusting. I don't like it at all.
It's this restaurant only serves Pepsi, I guess. That's what Pepsi is to me.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm never going, you know what I need? A nice, drinkable Pepsi.
Which one is that? I don't like any of them. I tried the Pepsi Zero.
Well, I tried to think
and I hated it.
I tried to think of something instead of refreshing, because it's not refreshing. It's just drinkable. It's a liquid. Do you remember?
It does make you feel something.
Do you
It's not
remember
anything
after
pleasant.
George Floyd when Pepsi was like, "Hey, let's fix racism by having Kendall Jenner give a Pepsi to a cop"? You remember that? So fucking fantastic. Do you remember when they had Sierra Mist and they went, guys, this isn't selling enough. Let's rebrand it as Starry.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
because that's what it is. there's no Sierra Mist anymore. It's Starry.
Starry.
I don't know why they couldn't just keep making, I don't know, 7 Up. Like you make 7 Up. You have a lemon lime soda. You don't need Sierra Mist, and you sure as fuck don't need Starry.
I do have to agree with you guys, though. Pepsi is my least favorite of the sodas, the soda families.
I love RC. Like, RC's fantastic. It's a
I
good
remember liking
cola.
that.
It's a good cola. Pepsi doesn't taste like a cola to me. Pepsi tastes like if you told somebody with no taste buds what a cola's supposed to taste like, and they made it.
There's just something about it. I think it's too sweet for me. There's just something
get
about
that.
it's.
I get it.
think it's too
Yeah.
sweet. It's a little too sweet.
Like, whereas Coke, like, tastes balanced.
Yeah.
It's just not all sweet. There's a little bit of oomph to it.
And
And
see,
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper leans more on the sweet, but it's a better flavor of sweet.
Yeah. Definitely.
it's almost as good as Mr. Pibb.
Uh,
I love Mr. Pibb. I love Pibb.
it's all right. I tried the Pibb Zero when
Yeah.
I was in Atlanta. It was tight.
Dude, I literally had a Pibb this weekend at the movies. I had me a Pibb Zero. So
I had me a nice Diet Coke with some ginger lime. That's my drink of choice at the movies usually.
I alternate between Pibb or it's either Pibb Zero or I get Sprite Zero. But since it's the one where you can choose your flavors, I get the Sprite Zero Limonade. Oh, so good.
Nice.
So good. But yeah, I thought you'd like that, Jastin. Dr. Pepper, number 2 beverage behind Coke.
It's tight.
In other news, the movie that Tom Cruise was making with Warner Brothers might be in trouble because they want to give it 200 million. He wants, or like 230. He wants 275. And they're kind of like, no. And I get it. The last few Tom Cruise movies have been hella expensive and they have not made their money back. Part of that is because of Tom Cruise, and not in a bad way. 2 movies ago, broke his ankle and was like, hey, we're going to pay the crew the whole time while I heal. And then this last one was for like COVID stuff. So when it shut down due to a COVID outbreak, he's like, we're going to pay everybody during COVID. And then the other one happened during the writer's strike. And he's like, we're going to pay everybody through the strike. You know what I mean? So he's actually, I don't necessarily disagree with his choices of paying people while
It's
they're,
just the timing.
but it just balloons the cost of everything and they're not making their money.
I would say that's probably the best reason to like
Go over
have an
budget.
expensive movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But I think from Warner Brothers' perspective, I also kind of get it because, like, if Tom Cruise gets hurt, you're on the hook for paying everybody. And then if you're starting at 275, you might end up at 400 again. And so I get actually why they're hesitant. They're like, no, we'll do it just a little less. Just in case something happens, we have a little bit of a buffer. So I kind of get both sides, but his deal with Warner Brothers is not exclusive. They just get the right of first refusal. So if they back out, I think Universal, he's had some preliminary talks with them to maybe do it. So, and in, I guess the last little bit of news, Dean Cain joined ICE, which I'm not going to lie, makes complete sense to me. They're doing a $50,000 sign-on bonus, and if anybody needs the money, it's Dean Cain.
Like I mean, I had heard that he, like in an article that he was talking about that. I didn't realize he just straight up on his like Instagram page was like, "Hey guys, everybody should join ICE."
Yeah.
What do you know? Wild times, everyone.
And like I said, if anybody needs $50,000, it's Dean Cain. I mean, don't get me wrong, I could use $50,000, but I also wasn't a TV or film actor. So I've just been a broke motherfucker for most of my life. He was a Superman. Also, once again, real funny because he has an episode of Superman and Lois and Clark where they're like, "Hey, you're being investigated because you're an illegal alien." Wah, wah. And he's like, "But I'm Superman," and they're like, "We don't care."
I heard John Oliver was making a joke of like, it's cool, like nobody knows his face, so he'll be fine and nice.
But also, he's part Japanese. Does he not understand, historically speaking, why maybe somebody of Japanese descent, why maybe they shouldn't join ICE? Like, maybe the US government has weird issues when it's come to Japanese people in the past and putting them in camps and shit. I don't know. Like, it just seems a little bit history repeating himself and he's just signing up for it. Real weird. It's almost like if Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid movies joined ICE. And I'm talking about actually Mr. Miyagi, not the actor. Mr. Miyagi, whose wife died in a Japanese concentration camp. And son. He's like, you know what? ICE. And I know what people are thinking. Why are you guys getting political? Because everything is politics. Everything. And I think one of the things that we were talking about with Dean Cain's Superman, I think the Superman movie proves it. Because some people saw it and they're like, "Oh, you're targeting my politics." And you're going, you mean the stuff the bad guys were doing? Everything is politics. Everything. Especially Dean Cain. Because he is a federal agent. Or going to be. I wonder if they're going to make him actually do shit. Does he have to do a background check? What if he had to do a background check and they're like, "Dean Cain, you're in so much debt, we cannot possibly let you in." That'd be great. Because if anybody's in a ton of debt to where ICE wouldn't take him, I honestly think it's Dean Cain. Because, I don't even think he could do the convention circuit. I think he's just stuck at doing strip malls. Like Bob's Fish and Chips is opening. You want to go do a signing, Dean Cain? I feel like that's where his career is right now.
And I also think that he just feels like this his crowning achievement in life. Of all the things he may have done in the past that were like when he was famous, I feel like he just considers this probably his greatest accomplishment
He
in
probably
life.
does. Oh, Dean Cain. Anyway, anything else? You guys got anything else?
No.
I'm going to start saying that when I stub my toe. Oh, Dean Cain.
Same quality of what it means. Don't forget that Jim Lovell died, though, Sterling.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Tom Hanks from Apollo 13 is dead. But just from Apollo 13. Tom Hanks from Green Mile is still alive. Tom Hanks from Apollo 13 dead. Weirdly, Tom Hanks from Big still alive. You would think living as an adult for a little bit would have fucked up his stuff and he would have died. No, still alive. Tom Hanks from, was it Turner and Hooch? Dead. Got some weird dog disease from licking the dog's face.
Who went out of Big and Benjamin Button.
What age? that really decides it is what age is Benjamin Button?
Well, he gets younger, right?
Yeah.
As he gets older.
So you need like 5-year-old Benjamin Button versus like 50-year-old. You know, you just need him when he's prime Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Like that one. Because you don't want like 80-year-old Benjamin Button because he's a baby.
Yeah.
Although I could see the character from Big fighting a baby. He wasn't a good person.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Jastin, what about Tom Hanks from Joe versus the Volcano? Do you think he's dead? That motherfucker jumps in volcanoes. I'm pretty sure that guy's dead.
No, he's got to be alive because he survived jumping into a volcano. So what can kill him?
Touche. He is immortal.
Pretty much.
But Tom Hanks from Mazes and Monsters, totally dead. Because he thinks D&D is real. You remember the end of that movie, guys? When he's like,
Sure
I'll
do.
cast flight. And they're like, I'm the game master. You got to stop. Guys, where am I?
Tom Hanks in his finest role of his whole career.
Who would have thought that motherfucker would turn out to be a good actor?
Like a multi-Oscar winning actor.
Like the guy you want to play you in a biopic. And yet, Mazes and Monsters, you're just looking at him going, TV's all you got, buddy.
He's just the poster child of like, it does get better, guys. It gets better. Just wait.
I was watching a TikTok clip and they were like, can you name a bad Denzel movie? And I'm all, Virtuosity. Like real quick. It's super easy. Or, I didn't like John Q. Apparently people like John Q. I didn't know this. Because when I watched John Q, I was like, this is bad. Surely no one likes this. Apparently people do.
I'm not going to lie to you. I liked it.
I thought it was mid.
I did not know this until like
Right.
very recently that people liked John Q.
I also feel like it's more his performance in it than the movie itself is what people like.
Like maybe.
But yeah.
I thought John Q was bad.
Is Virtuosity the one with Russell Crowe?
Yes. Now don't get me wrong. I love watching that movie. It is not a good movie. But also, I'm the guy that's like, sign me up for any time Russell Crowe is a silly little bastard.
Which is a lot of his movies, to be
God.
fair.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Dave Bautista is going to be the villain in the Henry Cavill Highlander movie.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Chad Stahelski of John Wick fame, the director of the John Wick movies, is going to direct a Highlander movie with Henry Cavill as the Highlander. Russell Crowe is going to be the Spaniard, which, sign me up. I'm going to get a silly little fucking Russell Crowe again. Which also weirdly enough, not the first time he's played a Spaniard. But yes, I get Russell Crowe as the Spaniard and I get Dave Bautista as the villain. Yeah, I think this movie's going to be fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a good lineup.
How do they say like bye in Spain? Because I want to know what he's going to be running around doing. Because you know how like in The Pope's Exorcist, he's on a little Vespa going, ciao. I want to know what he's going to be saying as a little Spaniard with a sword. Bueno. Adios. Oh my God, it's adios. Give me some adios. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Oh my God. I'm already excited as fuck. Thank you, Jastin. He's going to cut somebody's head off and go adios. Oh. It's going to be great. It's going to be fucking great.
You'd be like, hasta luego. See you later.
Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, movies?
Yep.
This is the Paul Walter Hauser double feature?
Who would have thought? But yes, it is.
We almost did a Paul Walter Hauser double feature and a Julie Garner double feature, but 3 movies because they only overlap in one.
Right.
Song.
Somebody will listen to me.
Nobody knows anything but you.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Come on.
Cinema Slayers.
Hey, Cinefans, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Slayers podcast. I'm Sterling, and as always, I'm joined by Heather and Jastin. And tonight we're going to talk about what we like, didn't like, and everything in between with the movies, the Fantastic Four First Steps, and The Naked Gun. We are going to go spoiler-free recommendations and scores, and then into a more spoiler-centric section with both movies, with time codes in the description in both audio and video formats to allow you to jump around if you need to. And with all that, I think, Jastin, I think you're our resident intergalactic cosmic ray specialist. I mean,
Okay.
I distinctly remember you saying that when you went to outer space. You were
Yes.
exposed to cosmic rays.
Yeah, it was the first
Yes.
thing you said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cosmic rays got me.
So,
Yeah.
Jastin, what you got? What's your spoiler-free Fantastic Four thoughts?
They're
Wouldn't it be
not
funny if I
bad.
said your Naked Gun thoughts?
Yeah, that would be weird to say it that way. My Naked Gun thoughts. Well, I mean, we had talked about this because there had been several previews and news about it. When we first heard about Pedro Pascal and the rest of the cast, we talked about this. And I think that we all kind of had a general consensus that we were just hoping that it would be at least better than the previous installments of Fantastic Four. Whether you're talking about that old ass movie, I forget what year it came out. The ones with, of course, Fan Four Stick, and then the ones with Jessica Alba and stuff like that. So, I think everybody kind of that has seen those was of the general opinion that we just really hadn't gotten a Fantastic Four movie to really do them justice. And when people saw the casting was pretty good. So you're like, okay, maybe this one has a shot. And I think that this was pretty good. I mean, I really enjoyed the film. I thought that we finally got a film that did the Fantastic Four justice.
That wasn't made by Pixar.
Yes. Yeah, true. That wasn't made by Pixar. Because, The Incredibles, it's sad that The Incredibles for a long time was better than any of the Fantastic Four movies, and they're based on the Fantastic Four. But not only is this good, I think it does some things that I hope Marvel can continue to do with other characters and other things later. First of all, it wasn't just the Fantastic Four. I think that the setting that they were in was good for this. I like the 60s retro futuristic kind of style of it.
It's that modern retro where it's technically now, but 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it felt something kind of, now this is going to age me, but it's felt like something kind of reminiscent of the Jetsons. If anybody remembers that, his boy Elroy.
Do you want me to ruin the Jetsons for you?
No, what happened? Who did it and what happened?
So within Jetsons
This game.
canon, I want to say Mama Jetson was 17 when she had the first daughter. And I want to say Daddy Jetson is like in his 30s.
Damn. The George Jetson?
Yeah.
Jane,
There's
his wife,
a weird
daughter Judy.
Yeah, there's a weird Jetsons age gap.
I didn't realize that.
Okay,
but
I'm sorry.
How could you when you never could tell what age they were? The
So
cartoon.
Judy was 16 years old when they had the daughter, and he's 7 years older than her. So he was 23 and she was 16. Still gross. Because that's the future.
Right.
But Jane was his wife. They said it.
I'm just saying that's some child bride shit, Jastin.
Well, thanks for doing the Sterling signature thing and putting a damper on things.
No problem.
But anyway, I wasn't talking about the 16-year-old wife. I was just talking about the style of it. You know, it just kind of gave me that retro futuristic kind of feel to it. So I thought that was cool. And so because of that, this has a distinct look. Like it kind of has, kind of like how in Guardians of the Galaxy, before, like if you see space and you hear like the 80s music and stuff like that, you know that we're probably referencing them. It kind of, that kind of gave Guardians its identity. Well, now this, I think the look of it and how distinct and colorful it was and kind of how they made the city and everything look, I think that the Baxter building, everything, like this had a distinct look, a look that I really liked. So that helped in the special effects department, that helped with the costuming, that helped with kind of your set pieces and the cinematography. So all of that was on point. This looked really, really good. It didn't look like a typical Marvel affair. So I really liked that. I really liked all of the acting performances. And what I really liked about them was that these characters are written well. And it didn't feel like, because in all the other Fantastic Four movies, it always felt like everybody was just kind of this one-dimensional sort of thing. Like Reed Richards is smart and nerdy, and he's the hero, and that's about all we're going to give you. You know, Sue Storm is the wife and motherly, and that's about all we're going to give you. You know, Johnny Storm is kind of like your jock, and he's going to flame on and be arrogant and make fun of Ben Grimm. And Ben Grimm is going to be kind of dim-witted and kind of like simple and, oh, I want to break things and I want to fight. It's clobbering time. But what I liked about this is that everybody kind of felt more like real people. Like they had layers, they had concerns, they had passions, they had things they were trying to do. There were layers to them, and it wasn't just your stereotypical, this is the one thing this person is, and that's his or her character trait. That was refreshing to see with the Fantastic Four, because we have not seen that on screen. We always get a simpler version of that. So because of that, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, I mean, all of them could really kind of get into some layers with these characters. And so it really serves it well. And I think also hitching onto that theme about the family dynamic and really like pushing that as not only just the dynamic of the Fantastic Four, but pushing that as the theme of this movie and kind of how they also treat the public and how all of that comes into play, even with the stakes and Galactus and the Silver Surfer in this movie. I think keeping that theme of family present in all of it, it really felt like these people understood like what makes the Fantastic Four special. And it's that element of it. That's ultimately what makes them unique. You know, that they are the first family of Marvel. So sticking with that theme of family and making it like the identity and the theme of this film, it was perfect. It was perfect for them.
Isn't it a nice contrast? Because couldn't you see in the 2000s Fantastic Four movies that they're like, Sue Storm's like, guys, we need to have family dinner every week. And Johnny Storm being like, come on, man, it's going to cramp my style. I got to go get the ladies. And
Yeah.
Reed would just forget about it because he's doing this science stuff. And, Ben's going to be like, oh, I can't even fit in the chairs because I'm a big rock guy. Like, I really, like, one of the things I appreciated distinctly with what you're talking about is the fact that, like, whenever they're late to dinner, Johnny's sitting there going, where the fuck are they? They're late.
Yeah. You're late.
I like that it was Johnny that was mad about it because I always feel like he'd be the character in any other interpretation. They'd be just like, I'm at dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like the fact that he's like, where are they? Like, it's dinner time. Like, he's just as much a part of the family as everybody. Because, like, it always feels like they always want to spin him off.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that he's there, no questions asked. Like, he's like, yeah, this is where I want to be. And he's just as bothered that they're late as in any of the other movies where they'd be mad that Johnny's late because he's on a date.
Yeah.
Or
just, he turns to fire, so he's going to be a hothead. And, it's just like, it feels like most people who characterize them just take the easy way out with things because it's just easier to write that simple shit. But like you said, him being like, hey, you guys were late to dinner. Another element of that too, well, not so much what you're saying, but just talking about the characterizations of them. I like how everybody was smart. I think that sometimes they kind of forget that all these motherfuckers are astronauts. Isn't it refreshing to see that they all have a certain level? Obviously, Reed Richards is the smartest, but wasn't it nice to see everybody kind of conducting themselves with some intelligence, whether they were flying a plane or trying to interpret something or talking to the public? Wasn't it nice that all of them had a level of intelligence?
Isn't it crazy that it's taken like 4 movies of them saying Ben Grimm is the best pilot ever to see him fucking fly something?
Exactly.
I mean, even like not that this is a spoiler, but just like the line in the montage video they do where Reed Richards is like, I needed the best crew that happened to be all of these people. Like, they were the best. It wasn't like I'm doing it just because I know them or whatever. Like, they were just the best at what they needed. So yeah, that's a good point.
And without going into a spoiler either on it, just, oh my God, seeing Johnny do something other than flame shit. Oh gosh.
Yes. And be obsessed with the details of something and trying to figure it out. And then it not being a waste of their time. What he was doing was actually important. Like, I was just so happy with these characterizations. And that really is the strength of this. It's the 4 of them and their dynamics with each other and kind of what they're going throughout this thing. Galactus wasn't a cloud in this.
I like how that's kind of just a statement you have to say.
Yeah,
Galactus wasn't a cloud.
Yeah, he wasn't. And I was still waiting with. I was still holding on to my seats to find out what I was gonna get. But you know what? It was a version. I think for right now, they did enough with him to where you know who he is. The resolution, not going to get into any details or anything, but the resolution didn't make me mad. It wasn't like we have to nerf Galactus in order for this to happen or anything. It didn't feel like that. It felt like something that reasonably could happen with Galactus, the Silver Surfer, everything like that. So all of that felt okay. I mean, I guess if I was going to be critical of anything, I mean, I think the movie it is good. The script is pretty tight. I liked pretty much everything as far as the story elements. I mean, maybe, I guess, on the action side. I mean, now, granted, there are action scenes, but this definitely is more about like the family side of it, the character side of it, the that aspect of it. So maybe if it was lacking in anything, they may have, I guess, had less of the action stuff with them in order to serve more of the story elements of this. So that might taper how you look at this. You know, a lot of people online are talking about which one was better, this or Superman. And almost overwhelmingly so, people are saying Superman. And I guess I understand why they're saying that. Like, I do think Superman was a more entertaining movie than this, but I think this is a better movie as far as the the script and the story elements and the characterizations and developments and stuff like that. So I don't know. It kind of depends on what you like more, I guess. I think this is better in some mechanical elements, but I will agree it's not as entertaining as the Superman movie. But also, it's not super duper long, right? It was just barely over 2 hours, right? And so, even though maybe it didn't have a lot of the action scenes, a lot of like cumulative action scenes, I thought the action scenes it did have were effective. I found them fun. I found them interesting. There's one where there's kind of this chase, and I mean, I thought that was great. That might be like my favorite action scene of the film. Was this chase involving the Silver Surfer. I thought that was freaking great. Like, and it looked great. It looked cool. I liked the situation they were in. If that was a lot of fun. So I don't know, man. I think overall it's pretty balanced. I mean, I wouldn't say, oh, this is one of the greatest Marvel movies I've ever seen or anything like that. But it is good. Like, it is really good. It's very balanced. It has great performances. Um, I mean, it hardly doesn't lack anything. I mean, I don't know what it lacks. Like, I think overall it's pretty good. And the last thing I'll say is, out of all of the acting, like, of course, Pedro Pascal, I think the biggest news about this was that he was going to be Reed Richards. And there was a lot to make about him being Reed Richards. But the person that surprised me is Vanessa Kirby. I think she was amazing, man. I really like her as Sue Storm. I think she winds up being the heart of this in a lot of ways. And I really think I would almost be willing to say, without that performance being what it was, I don't think this movie is as good as it is. I mean, I think she's the one performance that I really liked her in this. I thought that might be the one. Everybody is good, but she might be the one that is great or is just above the rest of them. And that's saying a lot because everybody is good in the film.
See, I'm slightly conflicted about that. Just because I'm not trying to take away anything from her performance, but I'm like, is it also because they finally wrote Sue Storm as a person?
Yeah, it could be that.
just the fact that she's a person.
Yeah.
You know, not just eye candy and there and all these other things that they've notoriously done to Sue Storm in anything they've put her in.
Yeah. And speaking of that, like, I know this Sue Storm is not Jean Grey, or she's not like Rogue or Storm or any of those people that I think are super popular and like most Marvel fans like. But I'm happy that Sue Storm got this. Like, we got a Sue Storm because Sue Storm is fucking badass. Like, Sue Storm kind of flies under the radar, but like she's fucking badass in Marvel. She's got some amazing feats that she's and things that she's done in the comics, and she's actually one of the reasons why like the reason why the Fantastic Four are like one of the most powerful groups, even though there's just four of them. A lot of that has to do with Sue Storm. Like she's
She's
fucking
definitely
raw.
a dark horse for sure.
She's pretty freaking badass. Remember, just to and Sterling might know more of her feats, but one that just really comes to mind is remember the Sentry in the Thunderbolts movie? Well, she has trapped him and he couldn't get out.
Just to put it mildly, what she does in this movie is not surprising.
Yeah.
With what she can do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's within the wheelhouse. It didn't feel like they were like, oh, let's amp her up. No. That's pretty on par with what she could do.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see it.
It was nice to see it.
Wasn't it nice to see it? And she didn't get a bloody nose in 2 seconds. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'll get more into that later.
Yeah. And still, with the aftermath of that and everything, I think in a way it still also respected Galactus.
But it makes sense.
You know?
That whole scene makes sense. But like, remember in any other Fantastic Four movie, she'd have to catch a cat that was falling and she'd get a bloody nose and struggle for 10 minutes.
Yeah. And it's like, dog.
Yeah.
Y'all are nerfing Sue Storm. Like,
the outcome of her tussle with Galactus makes sense because it's Galactus. So, you know, that tracks.
Yeah. That's why when The Incredibles was out and it was like great and everything, and then people started going, man, The Incredibles would beat the Fantastic Four. I was like, no, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Because you know how like Violet was like
No,
kind of getting used to her bubble and invisibility powers. Yeah, Sue Storm would just put them in crush them, dead.
Yeah, they don't really understand how raw the Fantastic Four
She could crush that whole family in a bubble and leave it there for so long that Elastigirl, who technically couldn't get crushed, would just drown in the blood of her family and die. I mean, Sue Storm with what she can do is ridiculous. In fact, there is a version of Sue Storm out there. I won't get too deep into it. When she gets like brainwashed and she becomes Malice, she takes on the rest of the Fantastic Four and they struggle. You know, you have the Thing, which is second, third, fourth strong, like physically strongest beings in the MCU. You have Reed Richards, arguably one of the smartest. It kind of depends on maybe the issue if he is the smartest or not. I mean, there are times he's technically like the smartest being in all of the multiverse type of stuff.
And all of the,
And you have Johnny Storm, who effectively is a sun in human form. Like, as much as those other movies are bad, Johnny Storm can go supernova. He can get as hot as a exploding sun.
Yeah.
And
like, they are no joke, bro.
And
like,
they struggle fighting her. Just her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a reason.
Really are no joke.
There's a reason why no matter what, Doctor Doom respects Sue Storm more than anybody in the Fantastic Four. He always respects Sue. He hates Reed. He hates all of them. But he respects Sue Storm. And there's a reason why Namor constantly wants to fuck her. She is a badass.
Yeah. Yeah. And her popularity's not only with this movie, but there's a game that I don't play the game, but that Marvel Rivals game. And when they came out with the Sue Storm DLC.
That's the Malice costume.
Yeah. Okay. That is the Malice costume.
That's the Malice costume. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where she's in essentially a bunch of black leather and spikes. Yeah, that's Malice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, you got gamers and simps screaming about her. But it's nice. It's nice to see that, though, because they should have been screaming about Sue Storm. Like the Fantastic Four, I don't think they get the love of people like the X-Men and stuff, but they're raw, dude. Like the X-Men would have problems with them.
See,
Have had problems with
and
them.
I'm one of those people that you're kind of talking about. I don't like the Fantastic Four, really. Like, I'm not sitting there going, ooh, let me read their books. I love Doom. I'll read, like, whenever they interact Doom, yes. But, like, I don't love the Fantastic Four in any way, shape, or form, but I have to respect them.
Yeah.
You know, you got to respect them.
Yeah,
and so I
they
want to
kinda
see
raw.
them respected in the movies.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I just want
Exactly.
to see them done right.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can imagine that a lot of that not understanding how great they are has to do with people who've only seen the movies and the
Mhm.
movie's not doing justice to it. Because again, I only saw like the first couple of movies with the Jessica Alba group and all of that. And this is a completely different version of all of the characters.
Heather,
And
you haven't seen the Fan Four Stick?
I have not. Yeah, I know. Is it on my list?
Oh, yeah.
I have not seen it.
Your soul has
But-
to be corrupted like ours.
Yes.
But yeah, like this is a completely different version of them, especially of Sue Storm. And so like seeing this version of them, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get why people are like, no, we need to keep trying to make this happen and make this do justice to who these characters are, because this far and away does a better job of characterizing them. And I don't even know what those characters are, but it's better than what I saw in the other movies. So, you know, like that's the unfortunate thing is if people have only known them from these movies, they're going to be like, Fantastic Four is stupid. Like, why do we even
Yeah.
need them? You know?
Yes.
But like when you see this, you're like, oh, I get it. You know?
Justin, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, we were just kind of going.
No, yeah, I was
but
just
yeah,
going to say,
okay.
Heather, keep going then.
Yeah, I think that it's I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Jastin. I think this movie, I wouldn't say this movie is great, but I think it's good. I think it's really good. I think it's solid. And I think that's kind of it's in this weird place in the MCU because it's consistently solid throughout the entire film. Like it's not really there's any lulls or anything like that. It's just consistently good pace, good stuff going on in it. There's nothing it's not anything like where I would say it's extravagantly there's no scenes that you're like, oh, that one thing, that's so awesome. Remember when this happened? Like when people think about Infinity War or Endgame or things like that, where it's just
Maybe that's my issue. Like, I don't know. Like, because I'm racking my brain with what is this missing? Like, why do I want to just crown it like
I'll say this, and
one of the best? I don't know, but I don't know I don't feel like anything's missing, but maybe that's it. I just never felt that, oh man, this is great feeling. But everything was good, but maybe, I don't know, but I can't put up my finger on what was missing.
I get what you're saying because there's no sequence or scene that truly just goes, this
defining moment.
This is it.
Yes.
But it also to me does. This movie has my favorite fucking line in MCU history in it. I'll wait on that. But so it's a weird thing because I do agree with you guys, but it kind of still does kind of have that for me. Because there's one scene in this movie that I was like, that's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen in an MCU movie. But it's also about 10 seconds. So it's 10 seconds of a whole movie that I'm like is the coolest fucking thing ever. When you've also got things like Winter Soldier, which is just full of the coolest shit ever. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. There's nothing about this that just blows your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's like, but that's not a bad thing. And that's the weird thing about it. It's like, I would argue this even works as just a standalone movie, like as not even part of the MCU, just like a good superhero movie or action movie or whatever you want to call it, adventure movie maybe. It works like that because, like, again, Marvel has kind of set themselves up to be like, oh, we're expecting this big, awesome, crazy thing to happen at some point in the movie because we're used to that with so many of them if they're the good ones. And this one is better than a lot of the Marvel films, but it's just a consistently, it's more the storyline and the characterizations that make it good. It's not like this big wow moment of, them doing something crazy or like the group coming together like out of nowhere. It's not any of that. It's just a consistently good film with the story it's telling, how it progresses, and just the characters they have in it. So it suffers but doesn't at the same time. Like it's hard. You're right. It's hard to put the finger on like what exactly is it, because it's definitely not a less than film in the MCU. I actually think it's a more top tier film of theirs, especially recently. But it's just not. Maybe this is the one that proves like you don't need that one gotcha moment. You don't need like kind of like how they attribute like the Oscar monologue moment that they have in like Oscar films. You don't need that kind of moment in every superhero film or MCU film to make it a really good film. And I think maybe this kind of proves that. You know what I mean?
Well, let's look at the last one, Thunderbolts. Does Thunderbolts have that?
I think it does more than this one does, just with like the final scene of what is represented with them coming together with Sentry.
Yeah, and everybody hugging.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
That would be the scene that I would
Over
say.
the battle with Galactus?
For me, yes, but also that could also be because it's more of like the emotional relatability of the Thunderbolts for me.
Over the space chase?
Which is great. All of that is great.
Badass, though.
But
that's a really good
But
scene.
the reason why I asked that is because to me, they're almost the same. And it's almost like maybe Marvel's trying to retrain us to not expect the fucking formula of the MCU that drove itself into the fucking ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is totally fair. And I'm glad because, again, it didn't need that to be like, as good of a movie as it is.
Like you can have a final fight sequence where they hug. You can have this movie where there's maybe only 2 action sequences in the whole movie. Like retrain us to where to maybe get to the point to where they can go, not every one of these is going to be the same as every other one. Yep. Different groups or different characters are going to get different types of movies.
Yep.
So maybe this is them training us to expect different moving forward with that.
Yeah, because this is a very different movie than Thunderbolts, but it's almost, at least for me, it's on par, almost on the same level of good quality. Like I lean towards Thunderbolts just because of the emotional relatability for me, like I said, but as far as quality, storytelling, performances, all of it, it's really neck and neck. It's really on par, but they're very different movies and they bring very different things to the table for the people watching them. And you're right. I think that's a great point, Sterling. Like they're trying, like they're doing so far a good job of being like, trust me, we can still make quality films without like third act is going to be a huge grand entrance and it's going to be a major fight with all the people you've ever known and all of that.
We just don't need any more fucking Captain America Brave New Worlds. We don't need that fucking shit again. Yeah. Right. It's the same as every other fucking thing they've done. And like I said, the formula that was a success, they just kept writing that until they drove it into the ground. And I think that they were kind of scrambling. And I think by doing this, it kind of resets it a little bit. It's how does a group of fucking people that only have guns defeat the Sentry? They emotionally connect with him and hug him.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense because there's no other fucking way they're going to beat the Sentry.
Yeah. I mean, you give me a movie where your villain is like somebody's inner trauma. Like, you got me. I'm sold. Like, that's a great idea for a villain because that's humanity. Like, yeah, those types of things are so, like, needed. And I think we talked about it with Thunderbolts too, where it's like, we're kind of at a point in our superhero movies where we need more. We're looking for more. And sometimes, in this case, less is more. You don't need all of the big gimmicks and the big things to make just a good story with good characters. And I think this movie is kind of selling that point for the Marvel universe, you know? So I just appreciate it for that. And it's one of those too where like a lot of what you talked about with the characterizations is a big thing that I noticed and paid attention to in this film because like I said, and again, I only saw a handful of the like previous movies, but I mean, the way that they characterize the Thing in this is far and away my favorite characterization of him. Like, it's so much better to kind of not be that guy that's like, oh, everybody hates me and I hate my life. And to be somebody who's embracing it and is actually like a kind soul and not just a shell of himself because of who he is, but he's actually embracing more of like, you know, the community of people around him because of who he is. Like, that's a way better version of that character, if you ask me.
And I get why with the Thing they want to lean into the body dysmorphia, the body horror aspects of it. It just writes itself. But it's just like the whole Johnny thing. It's just kind of refreshing to just not see it. It's just even if it just means you're going up one notch, it's just not bottom tier, like first tier on the ladder bullshit. It's just even going one step up of, hey, the community likes him because he's a hero. Yeah. And he's embracing being a hero. And he doesn't hate Reed for what he is. He's like, hey, it is what it is. And you know what? We roll with it together. Right. And it's just like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah. And he's actually pretty like self-confident in a way. You know, I mean, like he's not this self-loathing guy of like, I hate what I am. And that's great. That's an excellent message to send for this character. And they do things like that so much better in this film. And that was kind of one of the best parts of the film for me is just how they've characterized everybody, which I know we'll get more into. But like you said too, Sue Storm, I mean, just an incredible performance that she did. All of them did so great. And then also to have, you know, Johnny Storm is not the ladies' man, whatever, you know, he was more just like a big kid. Like he was just kind of like everyone's little brother. And you know what I mean? Like he just was also a very selfless person somehow too. And very family oriented. Like you said, Sterling, like he just was a very different character in this. And that is, like you said, much more human. That's much more, they're people. They're actual people in this movie.
And he wasn't
that is
so
a
like
great benefit.
mean-spirited, like towards his family. You know, like in the other ones, he could be a real dick. But here, it's more of a playful, like he still is, but
he's just like the jokester of the group.
But it's the joking but it's like he definitely loves these people. Yeah. In some of those other movies, man, he would say stuff and it's like, are you family? Like
he's much more endearing in this with his like attitude towards everybody for sure.
He just jokes, but he's like you said, John, he's just not a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know it's playful banter. You know it's him joking with people that he considers family. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's such just like a kind of a kid at heart, like child on Christmas morning type of guy where he's just like everything is like, oh, let's do it. And he's just a better version of this character than what I've seen in other movies.
And I'm so glad too, because you kind of get that swerve because they don't have the news interview in the movie that you get in the trailer where they're like talking to the news guy and they're like, yeah, every Sunday we have family dinner. And then it shows them being like to the whole family dinner thing and Johnny being like, you're late. But he looks like he's all grumpy. Like he's like, oh, I have to be at dinner. And then when you get to the actual movie itself, he's grumpy because they're late. He's not grumpy because he's at dinner and they're late. No, he's just grumpy because they're late.
Was it Sunday night dinner? It's like, Sunday night. It's dinner. Why are you late?
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was only even a few minutes late, but it was just kind of like an endearing thing where he's like, well, we always have it at this time. Why are you not here yet? Kind of thing.
Well, and like I said, in the trailer, you see him all grumps. And I'm like, of course, it's going to be Johnny Storm being like, oh, I'm going to be here for the dinner. But like I said, you get that swerve in the movie of he's grumpy because they're the ones breaking tradition, you know? And I just appreciate that they give you that swerve when it comes to his character.
Oh, yeah. every one of them is a little bit more defined and nuanced in this in a really good way. I mean, even also Reed Richards, like he's just too smart for his own good, but you also see that he is burdened by that in like a loving way, I guess. Like his dynamic with Sue is just so great because they balance so well. She is a very level-headed together person in this and has a very leadership quality energy about her in this one that's not really there in the other ones I've seen. So I really appreciated that. And just they play off each other so well with their personalities. She makes him a little bit less in his head, but he also makes her think more about like, okay, logistically for survival purposes, like what do we think about? Like they just really have a great dynamic with each other as far as their relationship in this. And it feels like a real relationship. And that's the best part. Like you feel like these people really know each other and you feel like Sue and Reed have just, loved each other forever. Like it's just a really good relationship setup, which also brings me to my last point I wanted to make is I appreciate that this is not really an origin story. It is, but it's not. The same thing that Superman did, where it was like, we're already a little bit into this. We don't need you to see from the beginning how we got here, how we've connected and made these relationships. We're telling you in this little montage video, but then you're seeing us when we're already well into this whole thing. And that plays way better at this point in life.
Oh, you're starting to sound like me when it comes to these fucking origin movies.
Because the thing is, until you see it done in a way where you're like, okay, and I think Superman is the one that really, because I've never been like, another Superman and Lois thing necessarily. But then when you see it done the way they did it in this newest one, you're like, way better. This is way better. I know how this goes. Thank you for just making me just drop into where they're already at in their relationship,
Well, you don't need to see Superman in Smallville. You don't need to see Superman or Lois thinking it's Clark and Superman. You know the fucking end game. You know they're going to be together.
Yeah.
Why do we need to see them get together again?
Yeah. And it's not even anything that I'm like, I hope they do this differently. Because I know we've talked about it a lot with the Batman, where you're like, can we not have the parents' death thing be a thing right now? With this, with Superman, I wasn't necessarily like that about it, but I might be now. If they go back to it again after what they've done in this newest film, I might be like that about it because this was just so much better for building the relationship and the story.
If I ever see a Superman movie begin with the destruction of Krypton, I'm going to fucking burn the theater down.
I'm out.
I'm don't need it. Now. And this movie proves it. But also, this movie, Fantastic Four, proves you can do it with anybody. Any of these main characters, you can do it with them. The Fantastic Four, everybody has that base understanding, astronauts, cosmic rays. Cool. So all you got to do is say, hey, they were astronauts and cosmic rays. Just say it and move the fuck on.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. No pun intended.
Unless it's something that we haven't seen before, then sure, if you need to do that, do it. But with this, you don't. You just don't need that. So, yeah, that was all I had for this section.
I mean, yeah, I might understand, if you need the origin of Moon Knight.
Right.
Because there's about 8 of us that know it. I get it. But like, yeah, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, even at this point, Iron Man, the Hulk. There are so many characters you could just kind of skip their origins a little bit. The only reason why
to see Spider-Man get bit again. I mean, come on, man.
Never again. If I have to see Uncle Ben get shot one more time. But it's even like the only reason why like Captain America gets a semi-pass is because they wanted to make a World War II movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you get a semi-pass for that.
Also, along those lines, too, the Spider-Verse one works because of them explaining that it's like a canon event.
Well, at least with him, it's not Peter Parker. It's at least not Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Another motherfucker needs to get bit by a spider, okay.
Right.
Just not Peter.
Yeah. But
I don't
mean,
need to see any more nerdy white kids get bit by spiders.
Yeah, but I mean, that concept of like, oh, this, I mean, yeah, Uncle Ben dies in every universe. Like, that's a canon event. That's just going to happen. That was a reason to have it in there without it just being there.
In that movie, in Spider-Verse, yes, I do agree with that. Like, having it be explained as a canon type of thing for a multiverse of spider people, that tracks a little better. You know, I'm just saying, like, I don't need Peter Parker to learn the lesson again. You know, when there's only one of them. Like, and it's like, well, you know, whenever James Gunn does his Batman movie, if I see Joe Chill in a fucking alley with the Waynes burning the theater down.
And you love James Gunn, but still.
But also, he's the guy that went, we get it, Superman's Kryptonian. Let's just move the fuck on. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I hope he carries that with him. Yes, that would be great.
Because if anybody needs that, more than any of the people we've talked about, it is Batman.
100%.
Oh.
It's Batman and then it's Spider-Man. But yes, it is Batman.
I don't know. Krypton exploding at the beginning of a movie is really high up there for me. Because I'm just like, guys, this man has been around since 1938. We fucking get it. Like, that's the most absurd one. And like, Batman's only like 2 years later. So it's like, okay, for what? 80 something years. The Waynes have been getting shot in a fucking alley by Joe Chill. Calm down. I mean, they are trying to make alleys as scary as like Jaws made sharks. Like, that is all the Batman movies are trying to do, is just give people alley phobia. I'm tired of it. Anyway, I'm sorry, Heather.
They're going to do like a prequel of a movie just about the alley that they got shot in, and the end of the movie is still going to be them in the alley getting shot.
Getting shot.
Ugh. All I'm saying is, if they do that again, I might be the one dying in an alley when I burn the theater down. Anyway, what else, Heather? I'm sorry.
Nope, that was it for me.
All right. I guess I'll start mine real quick with a quote. I herald his beginning. I herald your end. I herald Galactus. To me, that was the coolest line in all of the MCU. The Silver Surfer's in fucking 1960s Times Square and just says that to the world. I felt kind of complete.
Movie could have ended there. You're good to go.
I absolutely loved that.
Now, am I wrong? Is this the first time they've done that in a movie?
That line, yes.
Okay.
Dear God.
I didn't remember it, but I was just curious.
No, because none of the other movies were good. So they couldn't have a line like that.
They didn't deserve it.
No. They just couldn't have. Like, legally, I don't think they were allowed to have a good line in any of those movies. And if they were, they didn't show it. But, oh, God. Chills. Loved it. I loved the Silver Surfer in this.
Yeah, that delivery, though, of that line was excellent.
Just in general, though, the characterization of the Silver Surfer I loved in this, because that is probably the weakest Silver Surfer we've ever seen with just what they've shown. And that's what I love about it, is because they hint that there's way more there.
Yeah, I love Silver Surfer in this.
But you just kind of get that little scratch of the surface.
Yeah.
Of the sheer utter power that the Silver Surfer is. Like, she chased down a spaceship going in like faster than light. Chased it down. This motherfucker escaped a black hole.
Yeah.
Like, the Silver Surfer is one of the single most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
And it's just kind of refreshing to get a little bit of it, and it still kind of be like, yeah, I bet that thing's pretty strong. Like, just that little inkling that you get. I fucking loved it. Like, and I think maybe that's why I'm a little bit different than you guys, because I know you've said that the chase scene was great, but like I just absolutely loved that chase scene. Just in general, even the whole thing of them escaping the planet, when you got just surfing on lava and chasing them down and then chasing them through space and all that shit. And I loved that they're like, oh yeah, we've got this Galactus trap. I know that's kind of some spoilers, but Silver Surfer goes, nah. And just bam, 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 bam. Just so destroying everything they did so fast that they couldn't even respond to it. Fuck. Loved it. Just so many things with that. Like I loved that you get a Silver Surfer that is just, while minimal, is just insanely impactful. You get Galactus that, I don't know, they had a person in a big old suit and it worked. You took Galactus, one of Jack Kirby's most cocaine-fueled fever dreams, and made him not look like shit. Like he looks silly. I get that he's the devourer of worlds, but the man always looks silly. He actually didn't look completely silly. It at least it fit this universe. Having a man,
love the actor that had him too.
Yeah, having a man in a big old pointy hat, and it didn't feel like a joke. It's the little things like that where if you just kind of pay attention and care a little bit, you just get crazy impact. You get things like characters that are people and big pointy hand spacemen that don't feel dumb. You don't feel like they should be a cloud because it's not working. I get why in the late 2000s, they're like, nah, Galactus got to be a cloud because we're not good enough to do a pointy-haired or a pointy-hatted man. I get it. They didn't have the confidence. I'm glad these people did. It turned out very good. And I liked that guy. The guy, he's the dad from The Witch. And he was in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
He's the Green Knight. Is that what it is?
Yes, he was the Green Knight in the Green Knight. Yeah, that's fucking great.
He's a great actor, yeah.
But I like that his voice just kind of added to it.
Very prominent. Yeah.
I think one of the things the actor said he did to prepare for Galactus was he just went and spent a lot of time, I think, on top of the Empire State Building or on top of the World Trade Center building, just to be super high up. Just so he kind of could try to focus and encompass that, like, that's where he would be seeing the world from.
Cool.
Like, you're not going to focus on that guy on the street because you really don't see guy on the street. You just see the landscape. You just see the cityscape in front of you.
Yeah.
So there's like little things that he would never notice because why would he? He's giant, man. Outside of that, I think we've kind of covered a lot of it. With the performances and all this other stuff, the style of the movie, the narrative with, changing things up and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all I really got. I wanted to just talk a little bit more about the Silver Surfer because I didn't feel like Surf got some love, got enough love at least. Wanted to give the Surf a little more love.
And I love the Silver Surfer, so I'm glad you did say that. I was planning. I imagined we were going to talk more about her, but yeah.
But recommendations and scores?
Yep.
Recommendations and score.
Heather, what you got?
Yeah, I recommend it. I think it's really good. Definitely, from what I understand, the best of the Fantastic Four movies ever. Definitely the best one I've seen. Yeah, really good aesthetic, really good performances and story, and yeah, it's paced well. It's just really kind of like Jastin, you said like just a tight script kind of, or a tight story. Yeah, everything just worked for me in this one. And it just, again, it didn't need big, huge moments to just prove a point. It just kind of was a good movie, and that's all it needed to be. So yeah, I think it was pretty good. And it's definitely, I mean, it's up there in a more top tier level of MCU movies. So yeah, I think it's really good. I'm trying to think too, because we were talking about Thunderbolts, and like I don't think I like this one as much as Thunderbolts, but it's pretty close. It's up there. That's just me personally. um I I'm gonna give this 82 new costume prototypes out of 100.
Justin, what you got?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, seems like we're all kind of in a positive place with it. Like it's just real solid, man. Like everything is ranges from good to really good. It's just everything. The acting, the story. Um, like I said, I don't even think it really has any glaring weaknesses or anything like that. It's a pretty tight script, man. Like I said, I don't know what it is preventing me from just saying, "Oh, it's a great MCU film." Maybe I just need more time. Maybe I just need to see some that aren't as good and realize that this is way better than I thought it was. I don't know. Like,
Just
but
go watch the Eternals again, man.
oh God. Oh God. But like, I know it is really good though. I don't know why I'm hesitant to say great. Maybe that is what you're talking about, Sterling. Maybe there is something with the training or the conditioning, and maybe there's some part of me that still needed something epic level, more epic level, kind of like what Heather was talking about, or but I don't know. But usually I'm not that person that's like, oh, I need this. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not. I'm
Yeah,
just not jumping up and screaming it on the mountain yet.
but there's a
Like
difference.
I'm not on top of the mountain. I'm at the mountain.
Yeah,
I'm just not on top shouting it. You
but
know.
there is a difference though with what you need from a regular movie versus what you need from a comic book superhero MCU movie.
Yeah.
They do scratch different itches, you know what I mean? So like you might
That's
not
true.
need the ultra impactful iconic stuff in your normal everyday movie. But when it's superhero or MCU, they've tried to teach you to expect it. You know what I mean? Every one of these, even something crazy as Shang-Chi, they're just like, oh yeah, and then the dragon fight.
Yeah.
You know, like they always teach you to expect that next bigger element with some of their stuff.
You weren't
And what's
overwhelmed or
weird,
underwhelmed. You were just whelmed.
yeah, yeah, I guess so. And what's weird is that we did get some big moments, though. You know, we talked about the chase, and we talked about. I mean, we fought Galactus in this. What more could I have wanted? It was a good Galactus.
I don't know.
And we had the Silver Surfer surfing around and doing shit, and you had all this compelling character work. What is it?
It's
What did
almost
I
like-
want?
Yeah, it's almost like this movie is it's kind of like a I don't know. You're right, because I understand what you're saying, and I had a phrase I was going to use and I lost it when I was thinking more about this, but it's it's just one of those where because it's just consistently great throughout. You just I don't know. It feels like maybe this is what it is. It's not trying to build up to just one big crazy moment that people are going to love. Some of the Marvel movies do feel like that and it works, but like this one doesn't feel like everything we're doing in this movie is building up to just the one moment. This one kind of feels like every moment they're doing is intentional, and they want you to sit with every scene in this movie. as opposed to everything here is leading up to that in battle that you are always going to remember. Maybe that's more what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like maybe a better way of saying it is like when I look at this movie, everything about it, the writing, the acting, the story, the special effects, the distinct look of it, it was a more focused narrative. So we weren't doing all these other MCU things with it. Everything about it, I feel like in my brain is telling me it deserves an A. But watching it, I didn't feel an A. I felt a B.
Yeah, same.
Watching it.
Damn, Jastin.
But there is nothing in it that should disqualify me from giving it an A.
It just didn't have the glitz and glam of some of the others, maybe.
I don't know, Jastin. I just think it's funny. That's the most sterling way you've reviewed a movie ever. Where like you just end up going, but the vibe. In the end, you're just like, it checks all these boxes, but in the end, the vibe.
Yeah.
Just the feeling.
Yeah.
Again, and just comparing it to Thunderbolts, because that was the most recent. If I'm going back to rewatch a movie, it's Thunderbolts out of these two. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a very solid movie,
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. Like if somebody if somebody were to tell me, dude, like Fantastic Four First Steps is one of the best Marvel movies. It's in my top 5. Like maybe it's not in mine, but I could at least on some level understand that. Like I could understand why a person would put it there, but I just don't think I could be the person that feels that. And I don't know. And I can't even, and I may not even get to the bottom of exactly what it is exactly, but that's just how I feel. And I got to go with how I feel. But should people watch it? Of course they should. It's good. And if you've been looking for a good comic movie, this is one. I mean, it's good. So, we've been blessed this summer. We got a good Superman, we got a good Thunderbolts, and we got a good Fantastic Four. Man, we riding kind of high, though. If you're a comic book fan, you're riding high right now. So I can at least say that. So we're going to give it 88. I think that's fair. 88. I don't know, car lifting clobbering times out of 100.
I'll keep this very simple. Better than Thunderbolts. Not as good as Superman. That's where I stand with it. I don't got to go all this other stuff. I know exactly where it is. The problem is it only gives me like a couple of points of wiggle room. Like literally. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, Harold Galactus. So, 87. Surfers be surfing. Out of 100. CineScores an 86. Spoilers?
Yes.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Which, if anybody is keeping track, that actually does tie it with Thunderbolts on CineScore.
Nice.
Ties it on CineScore and a couple of points under Superman.
It's also the exact score I think Rotten Tomatoes gave it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have gotten into more because, like, when we're talking about Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Superman, I'd watch Superman again before I'd watch any of these.
I mean, that's true. Sorry, I was specifically thinking MCU.
No,
but if you're talking,
that's fair.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, when I came to score it, like that is the order in which I would want to rewatch them again. Superman, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts.
That's fair. Yeah. Superman for sure is the one I would rewatch again first of the 3 of these. Yeah.
But I do agree with you guys. this has been a kind of crazy summer. We've gotten 3 good superhero movies, a shitty Jurassic Park, and a shitty Megan.
Oh, Megs.
What a time to be alive.
Oh, man.
And a good Final Destination. You gotta remember that we had a good Final Destination movie.
The best Final Destination,
Yeah.
arguably. Yeah.
Which is just 2 points under this.
That's true.
I mean, to talk about this movie going into spoilers, I mean, I guess the big thing with spoilers that we hadn't talked about is legitimately the fight with Galactus at the end. And you know what? God, I love the fact that Sue just said, fuck you, you want my son? Fuck you. I'm going to push you into the fucking other side of the universe. And I like, dude, and I like the fact that, yeah, she struggled, but yeah, she pushed fucking Galactus. If there's ever a time for Sue Storm to struggle in a Fantastic Four movie, it's when you're pushing Galactus.
Or when you're in labor. That was the only other time.
Yeah. She's doing that. And like, I love the fact, like, yes, it killed her in the end. Sure. But also, yeah.
Yeah.
You just pushed Galactus.
So they respected Galactus in that way because it took everything literally she had
Everything.
to push him.
And an assist from the Surf.
Yep.
And an assist from the Surfer.
Yep.
Which, like I said, I don't think in general, I think that maybe that's where the weakest thing about this movie is, whilst it nerfs the Silver Surfer by what it shows, but like, to me, I think it undersells how big that is. Like Sue Storm and the Surfer taking out Galactus, like Sue needing, but she would need, like, we were talking about how strong she is, but yeah, you're physically going up against Galactus. You're going to need somebody as strong as the Silver Surfer to do that. You have to. Now, the only other alternative is baby boy Franks is all grown up, and then maybe you don't need the Surf.
Yeah, Franklin's OP.
For context, people, when everybody's like, oh, when Galactus is like, oh, I want Franklin Richard. Yeah, at one point, technically, millennia in the future, Galactus is Franklin's herald.
Yep.
And they are the only 2 beings left in the universe. Just existing. Franklin Richards is a whole other level of shit. So expect the movies at some point to nerf the fuck out of him, because otherwise nothing will ever be a problem.
Yep.
And that's what they do in the comics. Franklin Richards is so powerful that he is essentially God. He can create universes. Universes. Not galaxies. No, universes. And hold them in the palm of his hand. Because he's done it. But he's also so powerful, he can nerf himself. Because he's like, oh, I'm a child that is creating universes. I'm smart enough to know that's dangerous as fuck. I'm going to turn off some of my shit. But then he's also so powerful, he can unturn off his shit. It's insane. He actually makes himself a mutant at one point in the Marvel comics. So there's a little bit of time where they're like, oh, Franklin's actually a mutant. He's not. He's just so powerful, he rewrote his own DNA to say he was. And then when he goes, never mind, I'm not really a mutant. I don't want to culturally appropriate the mutants. He turns it the fuck off.
Baby Franks.
Baby Franks. It does not surprise me as a newborn can resurrect his mother.
Nope. Not a surprise.
That was a cute scene, by the way.
It was cute.
But also, it's a scene that's a little weak if you know how powerful Franklin is. Because, like, hey, they're not killing Sue Storm in the first movie. They
Right.
also already announced she's in Doomsday. But I'm like, they're like, oh, Sue's dead. I'm like, Franklin's there.
Baby Frank's got it.
Baby Franks didn't even need to touch her. He literally, as a baby, can just think mom's alive and she is. Doesn't have to do anything. I think that's how they're going to nerf him. He has to touch shit. Like he can't just do it. Or maybe that's how they keep him when he's just a kid. His powers only extend to what he can touch. When he's an adult, he can, rescape or, redo existence however the fuck he wants. But as a baby, he has to touch it. Yeah, it's scary what Franklin can do. I do think it's funny they got rid of John Malkovich's character, the Red Ghost, but you see one of his monkeys at the beginning. Reed Richards kicks the orangutan. That's one of the Red Ghost monkeys. So essentially, the Red Ghost is a really shitty old Fantastic Four villain who can turn into mist. You remember when comic villains used to be dumb like that? They're like, oh, he turns into mist and he's got an army of apes. Because that makes sense. The 60s were wild, people. They got rid of him, but they left his monkey there. I'm sorry, ape. It was an orangutan, so it's an ape. I am glad they didn't get rid of Walter Hauser, though, as Mole Man. I wish we got to see more of him doing Mole Man shit, but at least I'm glad they had him.
I love that man. He's just great always.
Also, really cool callback to Fantastic Four #1.
Literally what I was about to say.
Was so cool, dude.
In the montage. In the montage, you've got the big goopy monster. He's like,
yeah.
That's the cover of Fantastic Four 1.
I was like, say so. I was doing what you should have been doing at M. Night Shyamalan. I was like, that's the book.
Well, you know what, Jastin? Would know you also might have missed in that montage in the top right corner at one point. It shows like 4 reporters or 4 people standing next to each other. That was the cast of the 1990s Fantastic Four movie that never came out.
Huh. I did not catch that. Nice.
I did. I was like, oh, the movie. Motherfucker. What? I do think it'd be funny if they had like the little scroll cover at one point too. Like back when the scrolls were just weird skinny green aliens with pointy ears. And they're like, yeah. I think the first time they come across the scrolls to hide themselves, the scrolls turn themselves into cows. If I'm remembering correctly. That might not be the first time. I know one point in Fantastic Four history, they disguised themselves as cows.
Huh.
Yes. That was a thing.
Random side note. What was that Samuel L. Jackson MCU show? What was that one called?
Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
No one watched it. You're fine.
Yeah. I think it had a lot of the scrolls in it, though, but yeah.
Did you watch it, Jastin?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I thought no one did. Okay. One person watched it.
Yeah, one person watched it. You didn't miss much.
That's what I heard. Yes, but those are the scrolls, yes. But they were originally a Fantastic Four villain. And they were like really skinny, like they almost looked like chimpanzees almost, but they were green with little pointy ears and big old eyes. They were like, arr. Jack Kirby drew some wild shit, man.
Is he any relation to Vanessa Kirby?
No.
That would be interesting. That would be just kind of funny.
If anybody didn't know, Jack Kirby is almost the guy responsible for almost every single superhero ever when it comes to drawing them. He did DC shit. He did Marvel shit. I mean, but you can always tell a Jack Kirby design because it's bonkers as fuck. I mean, one of my favorite DC characters, Mr. Miracle. Oh, just Jack Kirby, just all over him. Just because he's one of the new gods. So he's like Darkseid and all of them. So it's just a Jack Kirby fever dream of characters. It's fantastic. Anyway. But yeah, I liked how Reed is stretchy, but he's not as stretchy as he's been. Because that was intense when Galactus just had him and he's like, I'm going to pull you apart, motherfucker. Like, Galactus was treating him like all of us treated our Stretch Armstrongs at one point in our life.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever owned a Stretch Armstrong or been around one, honestly, he Stretch Armstrong, that motherfucker. Did you ever try to do that, Jastin? Break your Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah. How far can it stretch? How
Yeah.
far can we go here? Yep.
Were you ever
Had
doing
to
it?
test it.
Were you ever doing it to the point to where it's about to go, but like an adult catches you? It's like, no, you can't do it. Because then you find out it's just full of corn syrup. It would have been just such a mess everywhere.
Yep.
You would have been the biggest asshole ever as a kid if you got the insides of a Stretch Armstrong all over the fucking living room. Oh my God. I mean, speaking from my experience, I probably wouldn't be alive if I ever succeeded at stretching one as a kid. But Galactus tried. And I will say this, one of the funny things that we were talking about, how this is a less mean-spirited Johnny Storm, but they kind of played into the jokester element of him just being like, say the line to the thing to get him to say it's clobbering time. So that was funny. I liked that they kept going with that.
Yeah. Like at dinner time, he's like, "Hey, so we know what time it is?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
it was clever. Yeah.
Those are fun jokes. Like, you know what I mean? They're not mean. They're mean, but they're not mean spirited. Like he's being mean to Ben, like, because he knows Ben hates it, but he's not like, "Hey, no one's gonna love you, you fucking rock monster."
Right. He's just teasing. He's teasing.
Just go dive into the bottom of the Hudson because no one wants to look at your ugly rock face. You know, he's not saying shit like that. He's just like, "What time's it been? Is it clobbering time?" You know?
He's literally just like a little nuisance brother.
Yeah.
Like that's what he is.
Yeah.
He's not like a fucking Mean Girls villain to Ben. Like, it's absurd. Like, he is a downright, like, villainous bully to Ben in some of those other movies. And he's like, "Oh, your fiance left you because you're an unlovable fuckface of a monster." Like, it's just, it's horrendous.
I just want your script version of all these movies going forward.
It's just fucking bad. He's like, "Oh, the world's best pilot, but you can't fly now because you're an ugly monster." Like, that's just all he would do in those other movies.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go light myself on fire and fuck chicks now." Unlike you, you unlovable freak.
I mean, yeah, this is definitely not that vibe, which is good.
But yeah, I love the fact that, like, where he's annoying to read is just the fact that he wants to go back to space. It's not even anything. He just wants to go back to space. But then also, like, you guys, like we talked about, like, he just obsesses over and translates an entire alien language.
Yeah. And just like not even letting really anybody know he was doing it. He was just doing it and then wanted to come back with a result for them.
And you could tell that there was an aura. I felt the hint of, I want to prove myself too. I want to prove that I'm useful beyond just turning into fire. Look, I figured out something. I brought something that was relevant to the table, and it had nothing to do with me turning into fire. Like, you almost felt like he was like, "See, I told you guys that this would be important." Like, you know, you could feel the, "I did it, I proved myself to them" sort of thing. Like,
well, it's because, like, Ben, he's the muscle, and the pilot reads, you know, stretchy, and the smart guy can do everything. You know, Sue's got invisibility and these force fields and all that stuff, but also a world-class diplomat.
yeah.
You know, and all this other stuff. And everybody's like, "Yeah, you know, Johnny, when he lights on fire." You know, and I agree with you, Jastin. Like, he's like, because, you know, Reed doesn't really take him seriously when he's like, "Reed, we need to go to space." You know, but then also on top of that, just the fact that, like you said, he's just like, "Fuck you guys, alien language deciphered. You're welcome." You know, which actually mattered. Like, it actually affected the Silver Surfer. Like, it's fantastic. Like, that you get those elements of the thing of, like, you know, him wanting to prove himself, and it's not in that tropey way of wanting to prove himself, so he does something dumb and stupid and like almost destroys the world.
Yeah.
It's something that's just useful and absolutely necessary that no one else was thinking about.
Yep.
But also, why was nobody looking at Reed and going, guys, let's not move the planet. Move the one fucking guy. Why did nobody have that be the plan to begin with? Like, wouldn't it always just be easier to move the guy, not planet?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, as far as Reed is, like, one guy, planet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
One seems easier to move. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, one of you.
Go ahead, Jastin.
Go.
All right. No, I'm glad you brought up the Galactus fight because all of that was fun. Also, I love how there was this break in between him coming where you know that he's coming. And I love the dynamics of what that did with the characters, whether it was Johnny Storm obsessing about this language and trying to decipher that because he felt like it might help. I love that scene with Sue and Reed, where they're talking about kind of how the public kind of have this outcry, and they're like, "Well, are y'all really gonna, if this thing that eats planets is coming, are you really just gonna let us all get eaten, over your son?" And there was kind of a back and forth of what should they do, but I love that part where Reed was like, well, I can understand because, with him, he's analyzing everything, all the scenarios, everything like that. He's going to give you the most honest, intelligent answer and situations and stuff like that because he is very much a scientist in that way. Not only is he smart, not only does his brain, but his brain, he sees everything differently. He does have a heart. He does care and all of those things, but he's so intelligent that everything he's looking at all the outcomes and just saying them, not necessarily saying this is what they should do. So I love how he's analyzing that and going, well, I understand why they feel this way because they see that that's the solution that they can see. That's the most practical one. That's the one that seems the most easy. And even though he was right about that, I love that Sue, though, it made her feel uncomfortable because even though, yes, he is correct, and that is the most intelligent, what he is saying is the most intelligent response. I love that she was there to be like, hey, but where's the humanity in that? Like, I don't like when you speak like that because, and her to being like, you don't realize what you sound like when you say that. And the back and forth with that a little bit. And like, none of that felt like ham-fisted, like, oh, the script needs them to have an argument, so this is happening. And nobody had to get mad and storm off and we have this moment of, are they going to break up or is this marriage going to work between Sue and Reed? If that felt like an argument that those two would really have as husband and wife, and what Reed Richards is and how intelligent he is, that's the balance of her. She sometimes can bring him back down to earth and help him understand that. But yes, you were smart. Yes, you were thinking of all the scenarios and stuff like that. But sometimes as a wife, I just need to hear this. I just need to hear the human side. I just need to hear the husband side, not the analytic Reed Richards side. It's not that you're wrong, but what I want to hear is my husband, not the scientist. I loved that. I loved that. That was like some real shit. You know what I mean? I just thought that was some good shit.
Yeah.
No, and it's one of those things that adds to the whole thing of they know each other. And so it feels like a real relationship. It doesn't feel like, in, was it Fantastic Four 2 Rise of the Silver Surfer, where they're getting married and Reed's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm just a nerd. How do you get married? And, and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, you go dance with some women so your wife can find you. And she can be like, oh, Reed. And he's like, I just didn't know what to do. Like what kind of hacky 90s sitcom bullshit is that? You can't tell me that is not one step away from like a superpowered Ray Romano episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, good point. So all of that just felt real. It felt believable. It felt like, okay, that's a conversation that a superpowered husband and wife, scientist, people would have. It just felt like that's what it needed to be. And also that was a great scene for Sue, because then you get to understand why Sue isn't equal to him, but just on the other side of it. Maybe not the intellectual equal, but definitely she has the emotional intelligence. That's why she was able to go out there. That's why she was able to talk to him like that and get him to see, okay, I see what she means. That's why she was able to address the public. And I love when she was out there, because that could have been really cheesy too. Come on, guys, we can all do it together. Let's fight Galactus together. But bro, they did such a good job not making that sound so like cheesy and cliche. I'm not gonna say everything she said, but I love that ending line too. Like, I'm not going to sacrifice you for my son, but I'm also not going to sacrifice my son.
It's the other way around. I'm not going to sacrifice my son for the world, but I won't sacrifice the world for my son.
Yes, that's how she said it. That was great. And excellent how she put that.
Isn't it crazy that, like, when they go, hey, her character is a diplomat, that she sounded like a diplomat?
Exactly.
Like it's not just a throwaway thing.
Exactly. Don't just give people positions and say that they're things and then never really try to show why that is, But there were plenty of times where she was the heart and the voice of reason of them and stuff like that. And so that was just great to see. And, Vanessa Kirby just did such a great job really making those scenes believable and compelling, and you felt what she was talking about. And, you saw the mother in her, you saw the wife in her, but you saw the superhero in her. And sometimes you just don't get that,
Well, then it makes sense. Like when you get the whole thing, when they're like, oh, she brokered a peace treaty with Mole Man and the Mole people and all that other stuff. And then it comes into play later in the movie when she's like, hey, let us stay down there. And she's like, no, Reed's got to do it. And Reed's like, oh, I'm grumpy. And then he's like, see? And then she's just like, come on, dude. He's like, of course, it's you. Of course, I'll do this for you. But like, I liked it was just a little fun scene. So once again, showing she's a fucking diplomat. Like just actually going, hey, we made this role for her that she's this in this movie. But then also showing why. Showing that it's a truly capable thing. Like it's once again, showing that she can do that. Showing that Ben Grimm can fucking pilot a ship. These things that they kind of hint at in these other ones, because in the other movies, Sue is always supposed to be the voice of reason. She's always supposed to be the thing that like tapers Reed and stuff like that. But also showing that it's not just Reed. It's so many situations. Like I said, there's a reason why Dr. Doom respects her. It's also not just the fact that, yes, she's insanely powerful. No, he respects Sue Storm. You know what I mean? Like it's not just the powers, it's her. And it's crazy to have a character that's respectable.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's great, and it's great to just not see her relegated to the hot wife. You know, that's what she sometimes has been in these movies. So all of that was just refreshing stuff, man. And somebody with some intelligence was definitely writing this. Ben Grimm, you talked about that dinner scene where Johnny Storm is like, "You're late." But when all that was going on, I love how it was Ben who knew what was up. Like how it was him that saw through it, and like he had a warmth to him in this. There was a warmth to him in this movie, and just a very understanding, even though like he's the most like, I guess you could say, quote unquote, crazy looking one of them, because he's a man completely made of rock. So you got these people who look like humans, and this man, this orange rock man. But I love all the humanity they gave him in this.
He's very calm and collected in this one.
Very calm and collected, and very like could see, like he was like, "You're pregnant, aren't you?" Like he just knew, he just knew. And he had a smile on his face as he said it. Like those warm moments were just so needed, or the interaction with the kids. We all saw that in the previews, but seeing it again here and with all the other scenes really just added to, they really just knew how to make that character way more compelling than he's ever been. And it's like what Sterling said, it's not just the whole, "Oh, I'm ugly, I'm a monster, and oh man, will anybody ever love me" type of storyline. This was so much better for him. This
He
was
never
so
even
much
once
more
said that
nuanced.
in this movie. He never even
Yeah.
once said that in this. And it feels also like he, in a way, was sort of Sue's like calm place, like her voice of reason, like when they're in the ship and he's like, "All right, hold on, we'll get you home," and like he just, I feel like he was also a very like, you trust him with what he's saying, and he's like, if he's not freaking out about it, we trust it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So just great stuff. And then, we talked about Johnny and the interpreting that and everything. And I liked what they did with the Silver Surfer, because there was just no way that they could take both the Silver Surfer and Galactus. I mean, if they didn't do that, this is over. Like, I mean, if Silver Surfer was there helping, it's over. Like, ain't nobody everybody's getting ate. So that was a nice turn of events. I like how they did that. I like how that story of her trying to protect her planet was relatable to what they were doing. So, like, obviously somebody was thinking about this that wrote it. You've got this common theme and these common things that these characters are trying to do. So you understand how characters are understanding each other. You understand how Johnny Storm was able to connect with the Silver Surfer. You understand the connections with them and the people in the public. I mean, just everything is making a lot of sense. So I think that all of that was just done so well. So I guess the last thing I'll say on my end is just, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see these characters. They made a movie good enough to where I'm like, I'm excited to see these characters interact with other characters. I'm excited to see what happens with Doom and these characters. And even though I wasn't exactly excited about the announcement that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doom and everything, but after seeing what they did with the Fantastic Four, I can't wait to see how this all plays out and comes together, and what kind of scenes he's going to get with Vanessa Kirby or Pedro Pascal and stuff like that. I wonder how they're going to do those dynamics and what they're going to do with them with other characters. So, like, I like this team. I really like them, and I think this they had to accomplish this. Like, you have to like the Fantastic Four if we're going to be doing Doom stuff and Secret Warring and all of that kind of stuff, and doing Avengers and new Avengers stuff. So that they had to get this team right, and you could see this team being a pillar for these other Marvel characters and what we're going to need going forward. Like, this feels like a team that could be at the helm, helping, leading, making big decisions. They feel like the team able to do that. So, yeah.
Also, quick side note about that. In the mid-credit sequence, when it's Dr. Doom talking to Franklin, apparently that was Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, it was him. Okay.
Yeah, they filmed that on the set of Doomsday.
Okay. Cool.
So, Heather, what about you? What's some spoilers for you?
Yeah, and also I'm very excited to watch their interactions with the Thunderbolts and just any of the other team members too. I think it'll be fun to see the different dynamics we get with that. But it's interesting that you mentioned that one scene with Sue talking to the public when she talks about, like, I'm not going to sacrifice my son thing. I really loved that scene too. Like, just that line that you guys mentioned was, like, it's so good. Like, it's very clear and obvious, but like the way that she says it is just like, okay, you understand what she means. Like, because the public was very much like, how could you do this? Like, why would you allow this? And, just a simple phrase of, I'm not sacrificing him, but I'm not sacrificing you. And then suddenly just her whole entire speech made them all be like, oh, okay, we're on board now. We get it. And that was a really great moment. But something that I was going to say was maybe one of the weaker points for me, which, talking about it now, I feel like maybe not so much, but it was when they came back and Reed Richards was talking to them saying, we tried to, negotiate with him, but his asking price was too high, and then they were like, oh, well, what did they ask? Like, and the fact that he told them what the ask was, that they wanted our son, I was like, why would you even tell them? Like, I wouldn't even tell the public. But I also feel
what
like
happens in space stays in space.
Exactly. I'm like, they don't need to know. Like, sure, they might ask in press about it and be like, but you need to tell us what it was. How do we know the stake was too high? But they don't have to. They can be like, no, just trust me. Stakes were too high. We're not going to be able to negotiate it. Like, you didn't have to tell them what the ask was, because you're inviting people to hate you and you're inviting them to come and harass you, probably. But
you also don't have to tell them that he even asked for a price. Just say, hey, guys, he wants to do it.
Yeah, like, you could be been like, we wanted you to negotiate. It wasn't happening. So this is where we're at. Yeah, absolutely. But now, talking about that and how Sue was with the crowd versus Reed, I feel like that's actually a very good, like, character trait to give, of how he actually is just not good with the people. He's just too matter of fact. He's too to the point. And sometimes that actually can be detrimental when you're just like that. It can be your downfall if you're too straightforward and you're too, like, emotion removed from it. And he's just like, yeah, they wanted our kid. Like, sometimes you don't need to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was actually, now thinking about it, just an interesting thing to put in there to show Reed with people versus Sue with people, and why her skill set with them is so important. Because he's the brains and he's very, like you said, the smartest of them all. But she is equally as smart, but she knows how to talk to people. And I think that was actually a really nice, like, contrast for us to see, like, how differently it went when she talked to them versus him.
Yeah. And I think, just to comment on it, since you both did, I think what was good about that was I was going to point out exactly what you talked about, that difference between how he handled it and how Sue handled it. And I really liked that decision for Reed, because that totally is a Reed Richards decision. Of course he would do that. Of course, Nick Fury wouldn't have done that. Of course, this other person wouldn't have done that. You know, there's a lot of people that would not have said that. But Reed Richards, everything is just about the most practical, the most his intelligence sometimes, like we said, sometimes the scientist and the intelligence comes out before the father, the protector, what's in the best public interest for me to say comes out. And so that's sort of what that was. But also in a way, though, it was kind of refreshing that he was honest, though. Like, how many times have we seen the Marvel superheroes misdirect the public or not be honest with them or whatever the case may be? So on some level, too, though, it was kind of refreshing that he was like, you know, yeah, this is what happened. And he was honest with them, you know, too.
Yeah.
But I get that's not to discredit what you're saying, because I think ultimately what you said is the purpose for it. It was to show how Sue handled it better later. But still, it was kind of nice that we didn't get off the plane and lie to people, you know.
Yeah,
Also.
no, I get that. That does make sense too, because yeah, I mean, you always see, especially with the people that are in charge of protecting the world, everybody's like they don't want to be left in the dark with what's happening, especially if their lives might be at stake for it. So I completely get what you're saying. And it was interesting that he was like, yeah, this is what happened, but he didn't really try to explain or like calm the crowd after. And so that's kind of the difference too, of like Sue being like, listen, I want you guys to know you guys matter so much. And Reed's not that guy. He's just kind of like, they want our kid. And I mean, we're not doing that. So like, he just is he wasn't necessarily trying to comfort them and make them feel like they weren't in danger. But in his mind, he knows what this means and he knows what he meant by that. But he's not going to be the person that explains it to other people or tries to, you know, relate to the other people about it. So yeah, I think that is an interesting, it's an interesting contrast. And again, like, if it weren't that it was their kid that was being asked for, I would say, sure, be like, yeah, he wants, you know, half the people, you know, in the world to come serve him. And that's what he asked for. Like, if that was the ask, it would be different. But I'm just like, you're making yourselves huge targets and your kid a huge target by saying, like, oh yeah, he wants our baby. Like, that was why I was just surprised that he said it. But I do get why, you know, it was a good character point later on to see like more why he did that.
But also at one point, I'm surprised nobody just looked there and said, hey, anybody, would you sacrifice your child, your perfectly happy child or like perfectly healthy child right now? Just if any of you go, yeah, let's do it. We'll pretend that your baby's mine and we'll save the world. No, because you're not going to do that.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. I mean, and that's more of that, you know, whole thing of just small little things make this characterizations work. You know what I mean? Of things like that. And again, too, I know we talked a lot about Johnny, but I really like the fact that I think him and Ben mostly were very much, I think they came in and said, let's make them the exact opposite of the other versions of them in the movies, because Johnny was actually very selfless.
Well, I would say all of them, though, because Sue Storm's the exact opposite. And it's not even Jessica Alba's fault. It's not Kate Mara's fault. They just always wrote her as a one-dimensional fucking character.
Yeah.
True.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely all of them, but like, I don't know why I like it stands out more with the two of them. But yeah, it's just that, I mean, Johnny twice offered to sacrifice himself for that baby.
Well, it's that. But also that is very much a Johnny Storm thing in the comics. When it comes to Franklin, the last time Johnny Storm died, I don't know if he's back yet or not. He sacrificed himself like to save Franklin from the negative zone.
And not even because it's like it was necessarily like, oh, but I understand how powerful Franklin is. It was like, that's my nephew.
Oh yeah, yeah. He sacrificed himself. Like Franklin's old, like all capable, all this other stuff, but like he needed to be saved, and that Johnny left himself in the negative zone to save Franklin, and dies there. But I also liked in this that they kind of showed the pairings a little bit, because the Fantastic Four always kind of pairs off a little bit in weird ways. You know, because it's like Franklin, or it's Reed and Sue, but then it's like Reed and Ben, and then it's Sue and Johnny. But it is also Johnny and Ben. Well, they have like you know, like the whole joking thing between the two is very much a thing from the comics. They always kind of pair off together, though.
Yeah.
You know, and I like the fact that you kind of saw those dynamics. And I liked the fact that, like, while Sue and Ben have a good relationship, it's just not as strong as the other ones. And it's the same with Johnny and Reed. Like, you know, they love each other. They're family. But also, like, Reed's a little dismissive of Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows it. You know? Because what happens? He's like, oh, you're, like, when he leaves and Ben's all, oh, your 215 didn't go that well? You know, like that type of thing. Like, and he knew he had to schedule a time slot just for Reed to fucking talk to him. And he barely talked to him.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Know? And
it is.
Well, I'm just real quick. I just like the fact that those are kind of things you get in the comics a little bit that you don't always get in the movies, because the movies is so one dimensional. Everybody's just a thing. They're not a relationship. They're not the character. They're just an attribute of a character.
Yeah. Flashcard.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I do think I agree too, like the pairings thing is an interesting point. And I do love, though, that while some of them are weaker than others, I really do like the Reed and Ben dynamic because of them being best friends, and how Ben is sort of his like sounding board, but also a little bit of his wisdom comes from Ben, where he's just like, you got to let this go. You know, like he's just, it's a way that they do Ben just feels so different.
Well,
like
it's because Ben and Sue are Reed's humanity.
Yes.
And one's the loving partner humanity, like what a family is. And the other one is just like a friendship, childhood, you know, bring you back down to earth because I've known you since you were 2 type of friendship. Like they both ground him in similar and different ways. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Ben can't really teach Reed how to love. But, you know, like Sue can. Sue can help him with those types of dynamics and stuff. And like, I like the fact that you just kind of get both of that in this movie. Like, I like the fact that at one point Reed was like going to apologize to Ben, and Ben's like, no, we ain't doing this.
Yeah.
Like
they just have an understanding of each other
well,
in
like,
a way.
yeah, he's like, because he wants to, you know, because they wanted to do that. Like, well, Reed's going to apologize for making you a rock monster. And he's like, no, we ain't doing this. Like, I'm Ben Grimm. This is me. Like, I might be the Thing, but this is me. Like, and I liked just even some of the simple things of whenever he's like tasting the sauce, and I know it's in the trailer and stuff like that, but he's like, you know, like kind of that, it just kind of felt like a Brooklyn Jewish New Yorker. That is what Ben Grimm is. Like, I thought it was so funny that some people after that first trailer came out, they were like, oh, is that really going to be our thing? What was that voice? And I'm like, oh, so the Jewish Brooklyn New Yorker, you don't want Ben to sound like what the fuck he is?
And I think Ebon Musk-Backrack did a great job.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I loved his version.
And I like the fact that he was just kind of himself with the voice and stuff like that, because
Yeah, that's just how he sounds.
if Ben Grimm isn't a rock man, he's essentially that. He's just Jewish Brooklyn New Yorker. That is what he is. He goes to the bodega and gets his bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll. And it's, you know what I mean? Like but he doesn't get an orange drink because, sorry, J-Lo, no one knows what the fuck that is. And he feels that. He embodies that and sounds like it. And then so much too of like even some of the press like junket things they've talked about and stuff like that. I don't know. The guy said so much things that I also feel like Ben Grimm would say. Because at one point they were like, oh, what would you do if you got the power of your Fantastic Four character? And Evan's like, oh, I'd probably there's a few fascists I'd want to like punch in outer space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, all right. That's also Ben Grimm. Like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I will say, though, that I just loved as a character design thing that they threw in just because it was kind of a thing in the comics once. But when Ben Grimm grows out a beard, it's the rock beard. It looks fucking sick.
Yeah. I like that they did that. That was tight.
Because one of the things that, like, in the comics was one of the coolest story things they ever did is, like, I think it's Reed is going, like, through time, like, toward the future and stuff like that. And he, like, goes, like, 1,000 years into the future. And Ben's still alive. Because he's a rock man. He's not a normal human anymore. And, like, Ben does have the rock beard at that point and stuff like that. And he's, like, the only person that's still alive from any of that stuff. And people know it's him. Like, he's, like, a respected figure on Earth because they're like, fuck, you're, like, 800 years old, bro. You've been through all the shit. You know, you're probably a smart guy. You probably know how to lead us because you've literally seen everything type of stuff. But it's like, it's one of those crazy things that also like encapsulates the unique loneliness that also can be the thing of that's different than the body horror stuff of just also because he is physically a different thing now, he will watch everyone die. You know, like I said, the only thing that like essentially outlives him is Franklin. Because like at a certain point, like I said, Franklin is just another thing. Like Franklin is essentially in Marvel, and I think that it's kind of a call out in this when they're like, oh, hey, Galactus wants to swap places with you. Is essentially the quote unquote next Galactus will be Franklin Richards. So the lore with Galactus is whoever the last being is of the previous universe becomes the next Galactus. Well, like, so whenever the universes essentially stop expanding and end up contracting and shrinking down to like a molecule before another big bang, we're essentially the last being in that becomes Galactus. And so whenever the big bang happens, Galactus is there. It's like an oversimplification, but yes, that's Galactus. Essentially, Franklin is destined to be the next Galactus because there's essentially nothing that can kill or destroy or end Franklin. And that's why he kind of becomes buddies with Galactus because he's kind of destined to be the next one. Like that's why it's Galactus Herald of Franklin Richards because he's destined to be the next Galactus. And Galactus is an eternal being. Like, yes, I know Galactus has died a few times in the comics, whatever, but like essentially he is a part of the natural universe. As weird as it may sound, there will always be, or there always has been and always will be a Galactus. Because he's there from literally the explosion of the universe, and the next one is made at the collapse of this one type of thing. And I like that's why everybody's attracted to Franklin. Galactus wants him, Doom wants him, everybody wants a piece of Franklin. Because he's destined to be a part of the universe. A just natural being that exists because the universe exists. You know, the next big bang might happen and maybe humans don't evolve like they are in this world, and it's a different type of thing. But no, Galactus is there. And so like that's why I like the little nod of like he wants to swap places with them, because it's kind of just cutting off a few thousand millennia, but they are destined to switch places type of thing. And I like that, because also it's a baby. And he's like, nah, that baby can be a world eater. That's fine. He's a baby. He's like, nah, he can take it. And that's the crazy thing, is as a baby right now, Galactus can just see, oh yeah, he could be a Galactus right now. He's like 4 months old and he could be a Galactus. That's fucking nuts, people.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Oh, I hope we get the other Fantastic Kid in one of these other movies. Unfortunately, with the way they're structured and everything like that, it won't be as cool, because you have Valeria, their daughter.
Yeah, the daughter.
Who is the goddaughter of Dr. Doom. And Dr. Doom also names her. Because Sue Storm we're getting into the weeds, but I love this story. Like, Sue Storm's having a complicated pregnancy and like a complicated like birth, and Reed can't be found. Reed's doing Reed shit. Nobody can get a hold of Reed, and she's like real big problems. And so last ditch effort, she reaches out to Doom. So Doom comes and helps her. And she gets through the birth and everything like that. And they're like, what were you gonna like, what's the cost? And he's like, I just get to name the child. And he names the child Valeria, which I think was his wife or mother's name or something. Somebody that he ultimately sacrificed to the devil for power. One of those people. It's like Valeria and all this stuff. But they were like, in return, they also like God, or Doom is her godfather. And like, so you get all these silly things with Dr. Doom, where like Dr. Doom's like, I'm, like, oh, we have to crush this and do all this other stuff. But Valeria is there in Latveria, and she's like, can I get ice cream? And he's like, you will get ice cream in the name of Doom. Like, it's that. Like, he just, no matter what, he will move like heaven and hell for Valeria. He also takes over her body and almost destroys them. It was fantastic. And all his crazy Doom shit. But still, I just love the fact that like that soft spot for her. Like, he very much takes it seriously that that's his goddaughter. Like, it's he takes it as a very serious thing.
That's cool.
It's his mortal enemy's daughter. And he's like, no, I'm her godfather, damn it. This is serious. And he'll eat, like I said, he'll eat ice cream with a little girl. But it's like the weird things, like, that's the thing, is that's the interesting things that like you get. And by default, by having an interesting Fantastic Four is when you get an interesting Doctor Doom. When you have a shit Fantastic Four, you get a shit Doctor Doom. And nothing sucks more than a shit Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Because it's the biggest waste of potential ever. So that's what's kind of nice about this. This is an interesting Fantastic Four, so maybe, just maybe, we were too apprehensive about RDJ being Doctor Doom. Because they met the first step, no pun intended also, of interesting Fantastic Four. That means that makes it possible to have an interesting Doctor Doom.
And at least we can hope for a good one. I mean, at least there's hope for a better one. Because my goodness, man, he has been done terribly over the years.
And the sad thing is he's matched the level of the shitty Fantastic Four in every one.
He has. Yep.
Like, that's the one flaw of Doctor Doom being so intrinsically tied to the Fantastic Four, even though he's a villain for everybody. He is the antithesis of Reed Richards. And so when you have a shitty Reed Richards, you get just a shitty Doom. Also, God, I want to see Doom use magic so bad. I'm sick and tired of Doom just having a shit Fantastic Four power. I want to see this man be a genius and use some fucking magic. I think that's how Reed actually gets his daughter back, is because he was like, the only way to like save his daughter from that thing that Doom did was to use magic, but it had to be Reed that used it. Because he was like, he'll never do it. Because even though Reed has seen magic happen, he's so logical, he can't comprehend how to do it. So he can't do it. Because you have to believe it. You have to just believe it to do it. So even though he's seen it, he can't believe it. And so like that was one of those things of like, he's like, oh, I've won. Reed will never use magic. I think he does. At least it might not be that story, but there is one story arc where, like I said, the way to beat Doom is for Reed to use magic. And they had somebody helps him, like, I think it's Doctor Strange helps him by like almost making it like a scientific formula. And that's how Reed can do the magic, is because of something like that. We're in the weeds now. I'm just excited about Doom now. So like, I get on my Doom stuff. Because like I said, it's only possible because this movie didn't suck balls. So I got a little hope now. It's 2025 and somehow I've got some hope for the MCU. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds weird probably for you to say.
It feels weird, Heather.
See what happens when you get some good movies?
Right.
And not just some quantum manias and
Well,
shit.
and everybody's talking about how bad they've been doing lately in the box office and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, because...
Unfortunate.
Well, but it's also because, like, you've had too many bad fucking movies. You've had too many bad to mediocre movies in a row. Because for every Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you had a Quantumania, an Eternals, a Brave New World, a Thor Love and Thunder. You had just every other shit fucking movie. So no, nobody's giving you the benefit of the doubt now, Marvel. Like, you have to earn it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, word of mouth won't do that for Marvel anymore. Because everybody has those MCU fanboy fans or friends that are like, Quantumania was fantastic. You got to watch it. And then you went and watched it and you're like, fuck you, Jim. The movie sucked. So when Jim's like, oh, Fantastic Four is great. You got to go see it. You're like, no, Jim. No. You fucking lied the last 4 times. I'm not watching it. And I'll just wait till it's on Disney Plus in a week. That's also the other thing. Guys, quit going to streaming so fucking quick. Superman's on streaming in like 3 days, guys.
Yeah.
Why? Why? It just came out, I feel like. It's already almost on streaming. 45 days. That's so fast. Telling me you can't wait at least 75 days? Give yourself a
Appreciate
chance.
it more.
Give yourself a chance.
Yeah, give it a little more time. Yeah.
But also, it forces people to go see it if you don't also kind of announce right beforehand. They're like, oh, you got 60 days before it's on. Like,
Right.
I'll just wait 60 days. Especially for shit like this for most people. I get it. Everything else is so expensive. But hey, starting in 2026, AMC apparently is going to start showing less stuff before movies. So right now, if you buy a ticket on AMC, they're like, hey, it's 25 to 30 minutes of trailers beforehand. It tells you that in the app when you're buying the ticket. Because apparently people were mad that there were so many trailers. I'm like, didn't people always know this? But anyway.
Yeah.
They've already stated that in 2026, they're going to like lessen that amount. They're going to tell you how long, like roughly, like I said, 25, 30 minutes, but they're going to lessen it. Because apparently people don't like 9 billion trailers before a movie. And then...
Didn't they just increase it, though? And
Yes.
now they're going to decrease it? Yeah.
Yes, they did just increase it. But yeah, it's because maybe you don't need a, hey, turn off your phones, then 9 trailers, then a, hey, turn off your phones, and then a, hey, buy some popcorn. Hey, Nicole Kidman wants you to go to the movies. Then another trailer, and then the director of the movie going, hey, thanks for going to the movies. Because you're already fucking in the movies before a fucking movie starts. Maybe you don't need all that. I'm just sick and tired of them telling me to go to the movies while I'm sitting in the fucking theater.
Yeah.
We get it. And they're like, oh, yeah, you can enjoy one of our recliners. I know. I'm already fucking in one. Don't tell me the features of the theater. I'm already fucking in. I just don't get it. And I know Nicole Kidman's your girl, Jastin, but fuck, I'm tired of seeing her stupid fucking face before every fucking movie. She's all, going to the movies is magical. Yeah, I'm here. Shut up. Like, you're telling me to do what I'm already doing.
She's so good at that.
She's not.
Just tell me.
Jastin, she's not.
I like the commercial. The commercial's great.
Jastin, you don't see it every fucking movie.
Oh.
You get to go watch that whenever you just want to look it up on YouTube. You're like, oh, let me watch Nicole Kidman. I have to see it. Because it's like right before the movie.
I'm so jealous of you.
Jastin, it has been, 5 years of that shit now?
Oh, we have a Freaky Friday in Trade Places.
God,
And I can see
Jastin.
Nicole Kidman every time.
I would gladly let you suffer through that. Because you would end up hating her. Her wanting to kill a child bear didn't turn you on her, but this will.
How can I hate what I love?
Because you don't see it every fucking week.
I can't hate what I love, Sterling.
You can.
I can't hate what I love.
You can. It's the Burger King of fucking movie ads.
Don't bring in BK and the Nugget Logs into this.
Oh, I'll bring that up. You know why? Netanyahu, famous genocider Netanyahu, said his favorite fast food is Burger King. How does that make you feel, Jastin?
Well, at least he's got good taste in burgers.
Because they're full of war crimes.
Well, the guy just happens to have one redeeming quality.
How dirty did that make you feel?
Terrible.
Yeah, good. That's how Nicole Kidman makes me feel.
It's not the same. Nicole Kidman should just make you feel love.
Jastin, she wanted to kill a baby bear.
You don't feel love when you see Nicole Kidman.
Fuck no.
You watching Cold Mountain, you weren't like, I feel love right now.
I forgot Cold Mountain exists.
You don't remember Cold Mountain?
Well, I remember Cold Mountain now that you said it. But no, Cold Mountain does not go through my yearly thoughts.
You know, sitting there like, man, she was great in Cold Mountain.
Jastin, be honest with me. When was the last time you...
Jastin's internal dialogue all the time.
Jastin, no, be honest. When was the last time you thought about Cold Mountain before that fucking statement?
No comment?
About 20 years ago? When it came out?
Yes, 20 years
Around the same time you last went to Burger King, probably.
Oh, come on. That was below the belt.
Oh, even,
I'm sorry.
even
It was
Heather's
just right
joining
there.
it.
It was right there. I'm sorry.
That
I love you,
was
Jastin.
below the belt. It was a good one, but it was below the belt.
Oh. Ref didn't see it, motherfucker. Oh, that's good.
I set myself up for that. You never bring up Cold Mountain. You just never do it.
God, I remember when that movie came out. I remember working at the movie theater when that movie came out. I remember the poster. I remember having to go clean the one like seat every time it like aired because no one was fucking watching it.
Nobody was watching it. That one came and went.
Dude, it was there for so long, and I'm like, how? No one's fucking seeing it. You just have some like 80-year-old woman that would come watch Cold Mountain randomly because it reminded her of when she met her husband or some shit. I don't know. Reminds me of my childhood. Oh, anyway, are we done?
I think so.
I'm sorry, Cinefans. We're skipping Naked Gun. We're gonna do it on the next one. I know I hyped it, but we went so long on the Fantastic Four.
I didn't think we would go this long on it. I'm surprised.
Yeah, and I did have a couple more things on my turn to say. It's fine. We mostly talked about like everything I'd want to talk about, but
I forgot we were still, there was potential for that. I thought we had completely moved the fuck on. Sorry, Heather.
It's fine. I just wanted to circle back about Ben and a little bit of his characterization where like I do also like his whole relationship with Natasha Lyonne's character, who I think actually should have been in this more. I'm a little bit bummed out she wasn't in it more.
I was about to say, is there enough of that to say you like it? All like 10 seconds?
I think it's also, it's part of that whole thing of, in this world, Ben isn't just like, everyone's scared of him, so he's got to find that one person that might not be repulsed by him. You know what I mean?
You mean the blind lady?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because it's always a blind lady. What's her name? I don't remember her name, but yes, she's typically blind.
Yeah. And so I think it's that aspect of it where it's not just like this, one person is ever going to love me and I got to find her, but it's just literally like, this world is not a world that's just like everybody should be repulsed by Ben and just this one good-hearted person sees him beyond that. It's a world that doesn't see him that way, therefore he doesn't see himself that way, is what it portrays as in this universe. And I really like that because I also think that, as the world has progressed, that's a little bit more of a message that we need, of like, maybe you don't look the standard of everybody else, but that doesn't mean that you're less than, you know what I mean? And I like that this is that version of Ben, and that there's a woman, a very beautiful woman who's not blind, that just likes him for who he is regardless. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And, I just think that that's an important characterization for him in this film. And the only other thing I wanted to say too was going back to how Reed is with his very logical brain and how it's hard for him to shut it off. I think like the scene when he's just like, what we have to do is use our son as bait, right? And that whole scene was really good because he was trying to say it in a way where, Sue wouldn't take it the way that she was saying, like, hey, everything that you think about is like this. But he couldn't not say it because he knew it really was kind of the only way to bait Galactus. And I really liked Sue's reaction to that too, because she's mad at him for saying it, but she disappears too because she's like, I know. Like, I know that that's the only way, and I hate that that's the only way. And so she just didn't want to deal with it in that moment. But I just really think that that was an important dynamic with them because it's almost to like, again, that relationship they have where he heard what she said earlier about how he is about it. And so he was trying to be better in that way. But also on her end, she's just like, she understands too that while she's mad that he did still say it, like that he said it for an important reason. So I don't know. I just think that scene played out really well. And I like how they added that because again, it wasn't like Sue was like, I can't believe you would even say that. We're getting divorced. Like, again, it's not that storyline of this is going to ruin our relationship. It was like I'm mad and I need to take it in because I hate that this is what it is, but it is. And then next scene, it's the two of them together kind of consoling each other about it. And I really think that was a well done scene and moment for them. So that was all I had left.
Fine, I guess it was worth it. Said some good things.
I try sometimes.
All right, on that note, are we done?
Yes.
Yes.
Jastin almost looks like he's like, wait about this.
No, I wanted to say something about Nicole Kidman, but she wasn't in the movie.
Forever defending your woman.
Got to.
And you also knew it was a lie.
I'd climb the cold mountain for Nicole.
No, you wouldn't, Jastin.
No, that mountain that looked cold as fuck.
And it's a shitty movie.
Come on,
I've actually never seen it.
Yeah, all right, it's not actually a shitty movie. It's just, I guess, it's not bad. I mean, if you've got literally nothing else to watch, there's worse things you could watch.
It's definitely not like if I told you got Jude Law, Nicole Kidman, and Renee Zellweger, you probably think, oh, that's a really good movie. It's just okay.
Yeah.
And you'd think that with a movie with those three, it'd be great.
Yeah, you'd be like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie that came and went.
Yeah.
But on that note, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the CineScores Podcast. Check us out on the internet, www.cinescores.com. We're CineScores Podcast on Facebook. We're Cinema_Slayers on Threads, Instagram, and Letterboxd. We're at CineSlayers Pod on TikTok and YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. Really help us out. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your friends' family, tell your family's friends, and most of all, tell those dear sweet mothers, because dear sweet mothers love
Heralding Galactus.
Fair. Shout out to Plug Me, Go Mundo, Show for our theme song and logos, respectively. We here at the CineSlayers Podcast are pro slut, pro city, pro naked, pro steak fingers. And you, yes, you, Cinefans, you are Knuff. Justice for Todd, justice for stunt people, justice for the caterers and the animators and all these wonderful people. And the production assistants, the PAs. They're trying to unionize right now. I think they should. I think it's screwed over. They're the little bitches of the movies. But they're the ones that make it go. And when I say little bitches, I don't mean that's what I think. I'm just saying that's more or less how they get treated. Yeah. They're the scapegoats. They're the ones that have to just do everything. And so some of them are trying to unionize. I support that. Go do that. Good luck.
Nice.
And I guess as always in the YouTube videos, the TikToks, and most importantly, this podcast, just remember the MCU movie Moon Knight is a Best Picture winner. Cinema Slayers.
Everyone is in love with their Sterling except you. So this is a you problem.
No, Jastin, this is a world problem. This isn't anybody that is an AMC Stubbs member, because you're going to the fucking theaters all the time and you have to see her stupid face.
Everyone in the world loves her Sterling. If I put a poll out, do you love Nicole Kidman? Everyone would say yes.
No.
You're the only person that says no.
I guarantee you at least 20 people would say no.
Oh, come on.
At least 20.
That's not true. It's too bad. There's no way to really find out.
You can put up that poll.
We can't. Can't do it.
It's a no-go.
Yeah, because you're scared of the results.
It's a no-go.
Really quick, my mixer ran out of hours while we were doing this, so it stopped recording on the mixer.
Well, we're still recording this one.
Oh yes, that's true. Sorry.
Well, behind the scenes there for you people.
Sorry, I forgot that this was not recorded.
This is still in the episode.
You can cut that out. Sorry. I'm tired, guys. My bad.
There's a reason why we're skipping Naked Gun on this one. It is 1:12 in the morning. right now, and we would just be starting it.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been about two and a half hours, and we would have been starting Naked Gun.
Oh man.
Oopsies. We promise we will do it before we do weapons, and we'll start with it. We'll start with Naked Gun. That is a Cinema Slayers promise that we will talk about Naked Gun before weapons. See, it's a weapons movie.
There
We're
you
talking
go.
about weapons.
like
See,
There's a
we
theme.
got themes for all this.
Yep.
A weapons
It's good.
episode. Yep.
So it's so fucking late. I'm done. Are you done? We done?
Yes.
Done.
Done. Later.